Hello and welcome to Dash 28 Live. I'm your host, Mike Adkins, and today we are delighted to bring to you the main event. That's right, it's the top table final round match between Tom Robinson and Mark Campbell for the Call to Arms Universal Battle Kings of War tournament that we've been streaming games from for the past couple of months now. So today, of course, we have Mark and Tom here with us to play. And joining me in the broadcast booth, we have Elliot Morrish, Ashley Smashley Mowat, and Britton Williams. To offer up some insight and some commentary and hopefully some entertainment during the game. So without further ado, let's go ahead and bring up the lists and see what you guys are going to be playing. The scenario for this round is Salt the Earth. And here we go. Here are Mark's Basileans. Mark, could you walk us through your list, please?
Sure. So we got 2 regiments of men-at-arms swordsmen. Then we've got 3 regiments of paladin foot guard. All 3 have the Aegis fragment. 1 has the upgrade to be paladin defenders, which gives the elite aura to all the paladin infantry within 6 inches. And then we've got 2 of those regiments have the 2-handed weapons. Then we've got 2 hordes of Ogre Palace Guard, 1 with the Chalice of Wrath and 1 with the Boots of Striding. Then I've got 2 regiments of Elohi, 1 Elohi with the Blade of Slashing. We have a Priest with Heal 3, Bane Chant 2, and the Conjurer's Staff. We have a War Wizard with Lightning Bolt 4 and the Boomstick, so he's got Lightning Bolt 7. We have Nias and Salmon Chris. And that is the full 2,300 points, and it is, what is that, some number of drops, 14 units, and 28 unit strength.
Awesome. All right, now, Tom, if you could walk us through your League of Rordia list, please.
Yep, so my list is pretty similar to what you've seen in the past, so I've changed it a little bit from going around. I've got a little bit killier, so you'll see at the start. Spear Flanks for us with those Warlords. Then we've got a guard grading done really well, and these guys just dropped around to 200 rather than 5. As always, so got 4 strength and jump in that. What to do? 2 tricks in the scale, but on a guard, now I've got 3 sharpness, 3 Vagons, because that's all we need to do. Got the Duke and Ancient Winged Arrows, you can staying stuff, and buff time, all make it. Wizards, one face with Lightning Bolt, another one's got Boomsticks with Lightning 6, and then I've got Bane Chant 2, Lightning 3, and Fire and Protection 2, Control, and that's it.
That's it. All right. Yep, and you guys are both at 14 drops. Interesting. So let's bring up the Universal Battle Room and take a look at how you have deployed. Okay, so you guys are, of course, playing Salt the Earth. And so you have dropped your tokens. There's the one in the center with the star that you can't burn. And then you're using the red dots for the rest of them.
Yeah.
So I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. And Tom, you dropped the first token. You won the roll-off for tokens. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. And what are you guys doing for your terrain heights? This is one of the epic dwarf maps. Are you sticking with like height 3 hills, height 9 forests and things?
Yeah, it's all pretty much the standard stuff.
Okay. Cool. So then, Mark, you're deployed up top here. Could you walk us through your deployment, starting over here on the left with your Elohi?
Sure. So I've got the Elohi over there in the pond. Just looking to hang out on flanks and hopefully try to keep Tom honest as long as I can over there. Then we move him over to the center. We've got the group of the Paladins. So we've got 2 units of the Paladins with the 2-handers there, and then the 1 unit of the Paladin Defenders on the right there. Then back behind those Paladins, we've got 2 characters. We've got the War Wizard with Lightning Bolt 7, and then we have the Priest back behind the central one. Then we've got Nias kind of in the middle here. Wasn't entirely sure where I wanted to place him, so we ended up kind of putting him near the middle, since I suspect these 3 tokens in the middle are going to be hotly contested for most, if not all, of the game. Then I've got the Regiment of Elohi in front of the Ogre Palace Guard with Strider. Then I've got Samacris behind him. We have a Swordsman Regiment there by the house. And then we have another Swordsman Regiment hanging out on that token at the back. And then an Elohi Regiment and an Ogre Palace Guard Regiment with Fury over there.
With Fury. All right, great. And now, Tom, could you walk us through your deployment starting over here on the left with your mounted scouts?
Yep, so mounted scouts on the flank. Why not? Next to them will be Horde of Knights. You've got the Duke and Ancient Arles, and then the Horde of Knights. Behind them, you've got 2 pigs. It's the Lightning Bolt 3 and the Lightning Bolt 6 one. And then you can put together their 4 weapons. Battle Shrine then, 3 volley guns, the wizard there. Yep. So he's the one providing sparring to the core of my army. And then I also have the Honor Guard there. And then the Pie Cord. And just behind them, I've got the Mighty Scouts as the final piece of chaff on the flank.
Okay, great. I think that's it. Does anybody have any questions for the players?
No.
No? Okay, good.
Good luck.
All right, guys.
I'm going to ask about the emotional support zone.
That's right. Everyone should bring an emotional support weapon. All right. It just seems natural that someone would have an emotional
Doesn't
support
every
weapon.
Englishman just sit there with a sword in his hand all the time?
Or about right crash you on.
All right, guys. So good luck. Have fun playing your game. Just ping me on Messenger if you need me for anything, or in the chat there. We will be watching, but not in a creepy way. So have fun, and we'll see you back here when you're done.
Good luck.
All right, see ya.
There we go. All right. So let's talk about these 2 players a little bit while they're getting set here. Let's bring up the tail of tape and talk about how these guys have done in this tournament thus far. Elliot put these together for us. Elliot, could you talk through a little bit for everybody watching?
Yeah. So I mean, I suppose the interesting thing here is that Mark hasn't won all of his games so far. So he drew his first round, but then won his following 4 games so decisively that he's pulled himself right up to the top table for round 6.
I've got an error on that one. That should be 1 draw. My bad.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So it's 5 wins to Tom, 4 wins and a draw to Mark. But when you look at both the players in terms of bonus scenario points, there's only a point in it for each of them. They've really been racking up those extra points. Mark, even when he didn't win the game, still managed to get a lot of the extra points. The one that jumped out at me though is Tom's percentage of enemy units killed. 94.6% of every enemy he's faced so far is killed, which is quite impressive. I mean, Mark's 86% is what I would call a really solid, good result, and then Tom's is just far and away the highest of all the tournaments so far. So yeah, it's going to be a really good game. I think on paper, looking at this, Tom would probably be the favourite, but Mark has absolutely played his socks off this tournament and has really pulled himself back from that first round draw.
I think also really cool to note is that Mark was saying this is like his first actual Kings of War tournament. So even to come to the top table is remarkable. On paper, Tom does look like a terrifying opponent. I do not want to play Tom unless maybe I can feed him enough drinks to give myself a moral victory. But
that does work.
Mark,
I'll attest to it.
Damn all my plots. But Mark I would love to see Mark win, as he is my country mate and my club mate. So I'm a little biased.
Yeah, the sad fact is that Tom has brought more disappointment to Canada than the NHL playoffs each year so far.
In
he's beat
years, yeah.
he's beat a lot of the country going on his run so far. He's the definite favorite here. Mark is the sort of last known hope of North America and sort of the world at this point, to stop the British juggernaut that is Tom. So it's going to be a really interesting matchup. It is a very classic underdog story. Mark has sort of been able to do the mini submarine. He's beat some good opponents on the way, but that first round draw means he's kind of come up from the bottom. And this is going to be a huge test for him. So I'm really interested to see it. And it looks like he already won first turn and took it, and is going to be plowing forward here. So
the other thing to note too is, like, we talk about like taking the whole tournament right now for points. I think Tom only needs like 12 points to win the whole tournament, where as the underdog, Mark actually needs 21. So even if Tom blows up enough of too many objectives, it really takes that away from Mark really even being able to get there in a viable way.
Yeah, so we're at that interesting moment. It happens a lot in sort of other sports, especially soccer or football for Elliot, where like Tom doesn't actually need a win here necessarily. Like a strong draw, I think, could do enough for him, right?
Yeah.
But does he play
easily to get on a draw?
That's not even a big draw.
But does he play for the draw, or more likely, is he playing for the win with the draw as a fallback option?
You don't show up to the match with a sword on your shoulder and then play for the draw, I think.
No, Tom is playing for the win. Tom will want another 25. He'll want to really cement his victory.
Of course he will.
Yeah, he's not going to
mess around. Canadian hearts everywhere.
Yeah. One thing that I think Tom might do is be aware that he can afford to burn tokens a lot more than Mark can. Because he doesn't need those bonus points in the same way. So it's not every time that Mark burns a token, he's going to have to be thinking, well, even if I win, I have to get the win to a certain level.
Yeah. Speaking of tokens, so to start, so Mark does have a single scoring unit advantage over Tom because Tom took 3 war machines and they have the same number of drops. And I feel like Mark's list is actually really strong for this scenario. He's got a lot of regiments. You don't need a lot of unit strength. You just need scoring units at the end. Is typically how these sorts of things end up, or lots of scoring units to run out there and burn tokens you don't want. And so he's got those Alohi regiments and an Urhalohi that can fly as well. So he's got a good amount of mobility, and he has some swordsman regiments that he doesn't really want to do anything with other than park on objectives for the whole game. Tom's got some wizards that he can fly around, but he's going to want to get them in position to cast lightning bolt. So he might not be able to just put them on a token and leave them there. And other than that, he's got mounted scouts, which he really wants to harass and chaff with. He doesn't really have any sit back and wait sort of units, I don't think.
I will bring up a quick stat from the tail of the tape, that 94% of enemy armies being destroyed.
You can't hold objectives if you're dead.
Exactly. Like the amount of Basilians left on the field at the end, if going by previous rounds, is not holding that many objectives. And I think that's what he'll be playing for. There's going to be some smart tactical play, but also just if you crush a lot of your opponent, it doesn't matter at the end. They hold the one objective. They have one person stuck left on in the back corner, and that's it. So that's what I think he'll be playing towards is kill everyone. And then he's got 4 flyers or 3 flyers?
Yeah. 4
on Tom. 4 flyers that he can sacrifice his chaff, but they have jobs other than that that can fly around and grab or burn or do whatever they need to do at the end.
So looking here, he has brought the Alohi and other regiments all into range of those organ guns, the volley guns, which I think is a right idea to do, because that's a 24-inch area of denial. You couldn't just ignore it the entire game. But I think those low-high regiments are going to be target number one for shooting.
Yeah.
Even with the cover there from the wall, those three of them together will still do a good amount of damage.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's what's so scary on this one with triple organ gun is if he was not aggressive, took first turn, or he let the objective setup be in a different way, Tom would be able to burn outside tokens with his mounted scouts and then force the fight for the middle, whereas organ guns are just sitting there. You already sort of know that's going to happen, so you just got to commit into the middle and fight there. There's no choice. So
no shooting.
No shooting, no combat. So it looks like we saw kind of what you would expect from Mark. A little bit of a push-up, getting better into a position to respond to whatever Tom's about to do this turn.
He does. I mean, he has a boomstick wizard that's hiding right now instead of shooting.
Yeah.
Which is
Tom
interesting.
has a lot of lightning bolt in his list.
Yeah.
Between the three mages and the battle shrine and the cannons, the organ guns, he can effectively just sit back and shoot if he wants to. And all that shooting together will take off a men-at-arms regiment fairly easily. I don't even think they've been upgraded, have they, to the extra nerve. So all of that combined can really threaten one of those regiments a turn.
And this is a list from Mark that has a whole lot of utility, and not a lot of punch outside of the Palace Guard.
Yeah, there's very few hammers.
So the entire rest of the list's job is to enable those Palace Guard to chew through all of Tom's army, and that's going to be a tough task because the rest of it is all pieces that are really useful. Like Samachris is great, Nias is great. It's Knight Regiment, nerve and defense on a 50 mil base. He's a baby dragon. So there's a lot of great pieces in this Basilian list. They're just not taking off hordes of foot guard or hordes of knights. So it's got to be the Palace Guard.
And even the Palace Guard aren't necessarily taking off the hordes in one go, but are in a real threat actually on the counter charge. I like that one of them has the Fury item because that will be really big, I think, for that exchange between hordes. But there's just a lot of nerve to chew through there and a lot of wasted crushing strength. I suppose not wasted, actually, it takes you down to twos, doesn't it? But it's infantry hordes aren't the ideal target for those Palace Guard hordes, really.
No.
Because on a counter charge with Bane Chant involved, there's a pretty good chance of wavering them in one.
Yeah, that 15 is very easy to waver.
They'll take an honor guard down.
Yes, they would do.
So the honor guard has to be careful, but it does in a world where you're facing no knights or cavalry. The honor guard, what are they, 7 movement, is just enough to outrange those Palace Guard.
Yeah.
So
it's just enough to win the dance, which
I'll remind everybody that for Northern King scoring, that middle objective is worth 2 bonus points. It's not worth 2 scenario victory points, but it's worth 2 bonus points, which means at the end of the game to win the tournament, Tom just needs a draw and that center objective. If we get right down to it and things get desperate, he can just camp on that, do nothing else, take a draw.
That's even before he's killed everything or
exactly
along those lines.
Yeah. So I think it's interesting to note too here that Tom kind of flipped back and forth between Undead and League of Rordia through the tournament, trying different things. I think trying to put his opponent off a little. But Mark has been very consistent in staying with Basilia, maybe changing up the list a little bit here and there, but staying very consistent with this with this army. But I also know that it's not like it's a disadvantage to Tom because it sounds like League of Rordia has been his baby for a little while.
Yeah. League of Rordia definitely is baby. Tom was an Empire player in Warhammer days, so he has this at full model count, fully based up infantry armies, and can probably field about 6 hordes of infantry. And when you play Tom with his Rordia, you think that infantry hordes are supposed to not be very flexible and not move around, and the things he does with them is horrific. He always finds that charge that you just don't think exists. Pirouetting that bloody infantry horde around a corner and then tapping a base and put it up here, and so he's very, very used to lists like this. He knows exactly what it can do and exactly where its weaknesses are.
And there's a skill to pushing around those big blocks. A lot of people see an army like this, they're inspired by it, and they're like, oh, this is great, I'll just put the same army out, which there's no problem with. It's a great way to learn and learn sort of your own list building and list design is taking someone else's list, piloting it, seeing how you like it or not. But what you first find is that, like, wait a minute, this is actually hard to push around giant blocks of units that all need to be at exactly the right spot at the right time. So there's definitely a skill there.
So he's choosing not to go for the low high. I suppose you can't stop it all.
I guess he's going against Nias. I don't know. G boy.
I pronounce him pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Yes, I have heard this saying before.
So if that's supposed to be a Latin name, in Latin, the AE diphthong is pronounced as an I, so it should be Nias, I think.
Nice.
Cool.
Oh, yes,
I avoided any Latin. I'm not fancy enough for that.
Oh no, I think he might be changing his mind.
I took Latin because I'm really bad at languages, and I knew that was the one that if I took, I would never have to be in a position where I would have to speak it with anyone. Like, I'm never going to be in a country where they speak that language, and my friends will look at me to be like, "Hey, you can speak to the locals, can't you?" I'll be like, right.
Boy, are you going to be bummed when you accidentally fall through that time portal to ancient Rome and are trying to order a beer.
Yeah.
Come on, Mike. You took Latin in high school. Right. Why aren't you helping us?
It's like I can quote the Iliad to them, but all right. So Elliot, while Tom's setting up the last little bit of what he's done here, could you tell us a little bit about how Tom's tournament has gone so far, like big pivotal matches or noteworthy moments? They shared some notes with us beforehand.
As actually mentioned, is sort of gone back and forth between Undead and Rodia. I think Rodia is the list he's kind of fallen back on when he either doesn't know his opponent, doesn't know what they're going to be bringing, or just wants a bit of an all-rounder. He knows this list so well that it can deal with almost everything quite well. And then he's jumped to the I say Undead. He's jumped to Revenant Cav on the games where he's kind of either half been aware of what his opponent might bring, or the scenario was pushed it so that Revenant Cav are really the advantage. So the one that sort of jumps out is the game versus Tamanis, where he knew he was going to come up against lots of mortars, and he knew that Tom would bring a list that would be fully optimized for the scenario, which I think was Invade, wasn't it? So he went full Rev Cav that can just absorb those mortar shots. But I think lists like that is, for a lot of players, it would really struggle jumping between lists. And Tom has this real pain in the ass way of just picking up almost anything and understanding how it's supposed to play and playing it really well, which is probably why he's so hard to play, because he knows how you should play your army better than you do. So I think he's now equal, I think, to Undead to Rodia. I think it's 3-3 as he's gone through.
Yes. But I think it's funny to note that he's played League of Wardia against all the Canadians.
Yeah. Yeah. So his lowest win has been 22 against Alex, who's with the Undead, and that was with Rodia. So it just sort of shows you that his smallest win so far has still been 22 out of 25. So he's been on form, I think it's fair to say.
Looks like
he said himself,
in a Lohi regiment.
Yeah, I think he said himself in his game against Brinson that he was it Brinley? Sorry, wasn't it? He's written Brinson here. He's written Brinson here, but I think he means Brinley. I think he felt that his the dice fell his way that way. He said himself that he thinks it was probably the worst game he's played in a while, and there was a few bits at the end of the game that fell his way. I will agree with him to some extent. I think he maybe didn't play the best for the first 3 turns of that game, but then really pulled it back very well. But definitely, I think that was the game where his tournament could have shifted.
I think that was one of the games that Tom played that I saw that was like, I could have seen that going against him. Most of the games I've watched, it seems very decisive with Tom. Like, you don't spend a lot of time thinking that the opponent's going to beat him. I also have to say that legally because the opponent was my spouse. So
Yeah. But I think
but
Tom
it did
will
feel
play
that way. It did honestly feel that way.
Yeah. That was the game I think that Tom probably didn't play as strong, at least for the first half of the game, and then really had to play his socks off.
Yeah, I really had to do it.
All right, continuing to shoot here, he did decide to take some shots at this Alohi regiment, and he has put a total of 12 wounds on them.
Oof.
Was that mainly from the lightning bolts, or did any of the organ guns pitch in on that one?
I think the organ guns
Pitched a little.
shot as well there,
They helped.
because the lightning is still is now going at Nias.
Yeah. So, I mean, the priority number one here is he's not scared of these infantry blocks. Those infantry blocks will do nothing to him, and they're great big targets he can blow up in a turn. The priority shooting is obviously all of these utility and speed pieces. If he can pick up Alohi regiments, Nias, etc., get them off the board, this game becomes way easier for Tom. So,
And that will pick up that regiment.
Just taking that one off, yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And that's the power, isn't it, of these guns?
Yep. I think we're going to need to talk with Mark about the size of his wound counters.
Yeah. Those are very small.
I'm also my mobile zoomed in so I can see them.
Okay, then I'll just count on you guys.
Yeah. I rely on you. I'm on a laptop. I can't. This double screening with that is no good.
So that does remove one scoring unit from Mark's side. That brings them down to 11 scoring units each. Going into turn 2, they haven't burned any objectives yet. Mark is currently sitting on 3 of the tokens, whereas Tom is only sitting on 1, but it's still very early in the game.
Yeah, it's interesting how he's covered these landing zones with the mounted scouts. But that Alohi might just be on a burn token mission. We'll see.
I think it's also, someone mentioned too, that even though Tom went second, if it looked like Tom had gone first, like the position was very strong, very up there. It really didn't feel like it was a second, like placement second and reaction move. There was, it didn't feel. It didn't feel like Mark really made him react to any of his movements.
No, I wonder if Mark has sort of underestimated the level of shooting in this list.
Wonder.
Possibly. I mean, it's Basileia, right? So you've got Iron Resolve, and you've got Aegis Fragments, and you've got some heal with Samacris and things like that. So it's possible they think, sure, some chip shooting spread around here or there. I can recover from and get across the table, but maybe it is more concentratable firepower than he was expecting. So he has jumped his Alohi back behind Tom's line within 3 of this token. So my guess is that he's
it does look like he's just burning tokens.
Just going to burn them. Yep. Make him come to him if he can.
Yeah, but but
then you can also just sit there and shoot him off his tokens essentially too.
He could, well, except for the one all the way in the back with a swordsman regiment on it. Like he's going to have to actually go get that one.
Yeah, and then also you don't really want to
coming in.
Palace Guard.
He is. I'm not sure how bothered Tom will be about this really, because then you have 2 other guns next to it that can just open up into them. I think Tom's very good at using his organ guns as bait. They're so cheap, and you charge any of those and you're getting shot. I would have liked actually to have charged the right hand one, because then they couldn't shoot you.
None of them could. He moved to the middle one thinking, but if you had moved to the far right one, none of them could have seen you.
He's sending Nias in as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then, I mean, sometimes
you've then got a horde who's, I mean, Nias they both should kill their gun. But as you were saying, Mike, these are your key pieces, and they're going to get swamped.
Yeah. And he did just lose an Alohi regiment to shooting in the first round, and like we've said before, watching these games, sometimes whether or not if shooting in the first round picks up a unit that you were planning on doing something with, some people kind of
it can put you on tilt a bit.
Right, like some people kind of freeze and reevaluate, and some people say, well, screw it then, let's step on the gas. I feel like throwing both these across the table might be Might be Mark saying, "All right, time to step on the gas." Then
I'm not sure if this is the right move, but I think that was the move he was already planning.
Yeah.
I think from his first turn move of just throwing Nias and both regiments forward with minimal cover, that their job was whatever survives gets into them and starts slowing down the shooting. Now, again, I don't know if that's the right call, but I think that was his priority, was to throw this stuff forward and turn off the guns. Or else the entire rest of that infantry battle line is dead.
I do love this typo from Steve. I think I'm going to call them organ funds from now on.
But he is spending a really expensive regiment, like he's saying. Those aren't typically the pieces you use to such, in my opinion, to set down organ guns, because he is going to put, right now, he's putting himself right in the middle of the lines. Even if he kills the organ guns, there's plenty of stuff that can come and break his face. And then you're down those.
It will really depend as well how much he pushes up the middle palace guard, Ogre Palace Guard, because if he doesn't push those up, then that foot guard horde can just charge Naeus without worrying about it. He really needs to put the pressure on, push up the
can they see Naeus?
foot guard.
Yeah, they can. Well, once the battle shrine backs up or moves forward, they will.
Yeah. Well, I guess unless he overruns.
No, but I mean, he's going to plow forward, right?
Yeah, I would overrun.
He could
for
do,
sure.
but then again, it's a whole other turn. You're doing. It's probably the right thing to do in this situation. But it does just mean it's a whole other turn that then Nias isn't looking at anything, and the Aloha is looking the wrong way.
You might be able to pivot in a way that you're out of that arc, though.
No.
But maybe not with the Aloha regiment.
Hard on a square, wouldn't it? I think,
Yeah, so because the regiment's there.
But also, he'll have to go quite a way to get out of arc of that honor guard horde.
No, I think he throws both of them forward, and he hopes that the honor guard has to pick between which one of those to kill, and then the other one survives, gets away, and is in the backfield. Sure. I think that's the hope. The problem there is that he's got 3 Pegasus and a what's it called?
Battle Shrine.
Battle Shrine to turn and just shoot until that thing is dead. Whichever of those two doesn't get honor guarded. But my guess is he's trying to blast through, use the Aloha and whichever survives of those two to force big units to either turn or get messed up from the back.
And there is this third gun.
Can't run forward, because the third gun will block them.
So there's really no getting out of the honor guard's arc for them. Nias might walk forward enough, but if he walks forward far enough for them to be able to, well, I don't know. I don't think they'll be able to pivot around the gun to go get Nias, but they will easily be able to hit the flank of these Alohi.
But if Nias goes like 1 or 2 inches, I think he'd be between the guns, wouldn't be able to clip, and he could get out of the arc of the foot guard horde.
That would be the ideal.
Yeah, that would be the lucky idea. But then if you go too far or not enough, then you're still kind of bananas.
So he's pushed up there with the Ogre Palace Guard on the right. The problem is you can bring that pike horde forward, so you're having to charge them into terrain. And then ensnaring terrain means all that lovely melee 3 is just getting wasted.
Yep. He is in charge range of them, but he is
scouts
in the
around the flank.
Yep.
And by moving up so fast, he's meant that the scouts can easily get into his flank there, and he doesn't have anything that can address that. So next turn, I would imagine they'll just go in the flank and start plinking damage off with shooting. Yep. Either at them or at the regiment at the back.
And that's.
Yeah.
I feel like what Mark did is he saw this battle line, which is a horrible thing to look at. You're looking at foot guard horde, knight horde on a hill, polearm block, and then honor guard. And he said, the point I might be able to break through and get something into the back is these organ guns. I'm going to throw something at those and try and punch through. And I don't know that he's going to earn enough from that, enough chaos from that to be worth it, but I think that's the plan.
What I also really dislike, actually, by moving the Aloha there, he's given that Night Horde free reign just to pick those regiments off one at a time. Because the middle Ogre Palace Guard are hindered over the wall, so that
they do have the Strider. They don't have the boots.
Have they got the Strider boots?
They got booties.
Yep.
They were Pathfinder. No, that's right.
So that will help.
It's not too bad then. You can still maybe charge the left-hand one and get out of range. Possibly.
So while Mark is doing the rest of his moves here, Ashley, he sent over some notes about how his tournament has been so far. Was there anything noteworthy out of that you wanna bring up?
Well, I love the fact that he literally sent it and it was called his Cinderella story. Because I think he recognizes too.
Cinderella Sorry, I think.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Yes, sorry. Cinderella Story. Very Canadian flags. But I think one of the things is it kind of seems like he realizes too that he is a bit of an underdog in this. I remember watching his match against Mike Wiedemeyer in round 2 against his Northern Alliance, and Mike Wiedemeyer won the last call to arms. And that was one where people not necessarily felt that he was going to be the strong one coming into that game, and was still managed to pull it off. Not to say that he doesn't have a lot of skills to work with here. It does seem like maybe he hasn't quite got to know this list as well. I was looking, and I think Basilea was something he just played recently, not too long ago, and really liked. So that's why he decided to stick with it through the tournament. So, but yeah, I'm not really sure what else to say really on that.
And he's building. What I remember, I talked to him before his the match we streamed with him against Mike Zettelmeyer, because back then I did research and thought I needed to know a bunch about the players to fill the time.
There's one off of a lucky waiver on the night board there with an 11 on the nerve check. That would have been pretty big to stall him for a turn. The boomstick wizard.
That's a lot of damage.
That would have been huge.
Yeah, that's really good.
5 damage from lightning bolt 8 is impressive, especially as they're in cover.
Yep. Well, and then he burns the lower token with the Urlohi. I'm kind of expecting him to also burn this one with the swordsman, but it looks like he's holding on to that one for now.
Again, everyone he burns, he has to really consider, because it's less points that he that he can get the big win with. Yeah. I'm not sure how aware he is of that, or if he'll be thinking of that as it goes through.
But I think Felix said something good here. He said it's something freeing about being the underdog. And I mean, I think that's, as Mark, it may not be like I need to calculate exactly what I have to do to win, but I need to come out and put in a good showing, do my best, and if it happens, it happens. But at the end of the day, if he loses this game, which he very well might, hopefully not for other reasons, he still is playing against the UK master, who literally started the stream carrying a sword on his lap. So like if you lose this game, there's nothing like I should have won it. Like I was the better player. Like that's it could honestly be that you just get outplayed and you lose to someone as fantastic as Tom.
But the thing he's got to be careful about, the thing he wants to avoid, you play your best, you try and win, but you want to make sure you don't put yourself in a position where you win the game, but you could have won the tournament. And
that would be really
you played yourself out of that. So, of course, you want to win, and if you need to burn a token for the win in the game that's going to lose you the tournament, you still go for that win. But you want to avoid you want to avoid getting jumped by another player.
Yeah.
So
but he's also someone that can't win the game without, like, he can't win the tournament without winning the game. So,
So if he didn't walk Ice forward, he just turned him to face the Footguard Horde, I guess, to try to protect the back of the Lohi. But I don't know why you bother doing that, because they're going to get sharp Honor Guard in the face.
I suppose by doing it, he's keeping Neas in the fight. So rather than Neas facing the wrong direction and having to spend a whole other turn spinning around to do something, he's in the fight now. So so he's taken the Nighthawk into the left-hand side regiment. I think it can. So I was just checking actually. I think it can probably turn and stay out of range of that Palace Guard Horde. So we can just click on the middle.
Ooh, do we see that movement with the Honor Guard Horde too?
I think he will be just out of their 12, 3, 6, 9.
Yeah.
Did Mark burn
he should
2 tokens?
Delete that.
I'm only counting 5 tokens currently, and I know that he burned the one down there with the Urlohi. Did he burn another one on the hill, maybe?
Changing his mind.
What is the math on that? Like the Foot Guard, they don't have Pathfinder, do they?
No.
So what would a hinder charge from Foot Guard would still hurt very bad?
Should not kill him.
12.5 hits. No.
The math wouldn't kill him, right? Because then that would put the Foot Guard in a pretty precarious position as well.
They just need they need the Bane Chant and something else to go in because Nias already has damage on him.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
But actually, they could almost just avoid. They can afford to just ignore Nias effectively there. They can turn to face him in the front. There's no other charges coming onto them. It's just the Battle Shrine that needs to be thought about, really. So he's taking the flank on the Urlo High with the scouts. It's just free damage there. Either you turn around and you're killing scouts and you're out of the game again for another turn, or you fly off. I think you have to turn around now, don't you, and fight it.
Well, because if you don't fly, I mean, you're not going to be able to fly off because there's still a good chance they're going to do a damage and ground you to the floor.
Yeah. I mean, they're melee of 4, I believe, out there with Thunderous 1. They're actually.
Yep.
There's a. Oh no! So it's taking the charge.
We're talking about the mounted scouts.
Okay. Part of me always laughs when I think of like a grounding a dragon, and I just imagine like some guy running into the battle with a sword and like pinning a wing to the ground.
Stop it.
You sit down.
Yeah, so that is a strange check. One, I think he's. I don't know if he's expecting to kill him there or not.
Can we check though? Does that also put Mike? There's a unit above that.
Yep.
Above there. Is that front or flank?
Looks like
Definitely
it's
flank.
very much
Yeah.
flank.
Yeah. Sorry, angles are kind of hard when you're not clicking the button sometimes.
Yeah, that's fine. So the palace, the Ogre Palace Guard are too far away. Looks like to get to the flank of those footmen. But
So
these swordsmen could.
It's a hindered charge from swordsman.
Swordsman Red. Yeah.
He
So
probably
it's
just
not-
doesn't care that much about it.
Yeah,
No.
not. I don't think so.
I mean, we
He's
said,
probably
didn't we? Picking off these fast pieces is what's going to win Tom this game. If all you've got left are infantry regiments, then you're going to struggle.
Yep.
So actually, an opportunity to grab Naeus might be worth the risk.
I'm expecting a Bane Chant on that unit. 12 hits. So we're looking at 6 damage plus 3 has. Yeah, it's not good odds to take him off, but I think if he just doesn't care about the side charge, then he might be fine with it.
And roll with it.
I'm surprised that he took the charge back with the Night Horde. I thought that was a really good charge on the left-hand side regiment. Out of charge range of those ogres, all you're getting charged by are, Palace Guard, and Paladin Foot Guard, and
Defenders.
yeah, that's it. He'll chew through one of those a turn. They together shouldn't really even, waver or break the horde.
Was
you've
it
got
a
the opportunity
situation where because of that wizard in there, he couldn't actually pivot to be out of the palace guards?
Perhaps actually, yeah. Maybe it was more limited than he thought.
Because he centers up on them, he's super wide.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't be able to just turn 90, I don't think.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. Actually, I think he's blocking the reform.
That cheeky little boomstick wizard who is the bane of my life often in games against Basilia. Those war wizards with their sniper rifle does some damage. Okay.
So Battle Shrine is just shuffling, I think, isn't it? So what do we think his target is for shooting this turn then with his lightning bolts?
I don't know.
He can't see anything with the remaining organ gun. That's
Yeah. It's busy.
That's obvious.
I mean, it's going to be a lot less effective this round. One of them should be a Bane Chant. And then, I mean, everything else, just pick whichever one of those, either infantry hordes or palace guard, whoever's not in cover, I would say, and then just.
I would start whittling down an infantry regiment, I think.
I think
whichever one is most annoying.
Yeah, I think I would start with that swordsman regiment because that's the easiest one to pick off, and it's currently sitting on an objective that he could burn next turn if he wants to. And if you get rid of it, then there's nothing else that can.
And also the waver prevents the flank.
If you spike your roll, get a lucky waiver, it actually earns you something versus the other side of the board.
Right.
Yeah.
So that the mounted scouts have pushed right up as the flank.
Shocking.
You can't actually see the flank of the palace guard there. I thought they might hold back a bit just so they could see a flank and not be seen. But it looks as if they're maybe just going to harass the Sorbonne regiment at the top.
I think they can just barely see the back corner of the unit where they are as well.
They did march there, so they're not shooting.
Yeah, they're not shooting, but they could charge next turn if they wanted to.
Yeah.
And they are, of course, well out of range of
And he's
foot regiment.
It's only turn 2. They've got plenty of turns, haven't they? Just to annoy that. So that can be their job all game now.
well, that
there's not much to do about it.
that's what's really interesting. My initial thought is like, oh, you turn to face inwards a little, but by keeping them along that line, he has the ability next turn, because nothing's going to block him off, to just shoot forward and then left turn, and just race around the entire back line of that if he wants.
Exactly.
He can
just go for a stroll if he wants to.
And that's that tricky thing of keeping them pointed up towards the board, means since nothing's going to get in front of them, he can get all the way to that back edge and still turn to face. So it's going to be really hard to keep him. If you turn to cover that corner, he can left turn and go in between the units. He's in a position where he can be really annoying to arc dodge for the rest of this game.
Can we just click on the Duke on Arrow just to see what his charge options are or movement options?
8, 6, 9, 12.
So not much. He doesn't have enough speed to get behind those infantry units. I would like personally just to be effectively where that Aloha was. Just turn 10 and turn again.
Yeah, basically just hop over the rocks.
Yeah. So
the only thing I think he's keeping that, because that Duke on Aralaz is a wonderful plug. Sorry, to just hit something in the face and slow it. And right now he can pick any of those infantry units to stop up. And the further he moves out, the less options he has. But we'll see. But does he not have enough range to jump over? He could, right? 20 straight ahead and a right turn.
12, 8. Oh no, sorry, does he? I'm looking at the wrong blue line.
He can I was thinking he
Yeah,
can
so
probably
he
jump.
does have plenty. That might not be the best. Oh yeah. Speaking of which, he's charging the wizard.
He left a wizard charge.
So this is something that either you know it or you don't, really. If you're not touching the unit in front, your flyer can just come straight over, tap the corner.
Is he tall enough to see over the hill with the unit in front of it?
So they said that they
because
agreed it was on the hill.
Yeah, they said they checked so he can't see behind it. But I'm not sure there's space there for him to land.
There isn't, I don't think. I still touch the corner. I think.
Yeah. He still lands on the other unit trying to make contact.
Yeah, because that's his straightforward there. I think he's just got away with that one. If he'd have been slightly more to the right, he probably could have got away with it, but maybe he can. Because you only need to make contact with any part of that corner, which is there.
Yeah, but just the corner, right? He can't touch the flank side. He hasn't
no,
touched
you can touch any side of it. So that point of the corner is still the corner. It doesn't matter if you're touching the entire edge of the base as well. As long as you can. Yeah, so if he was angled at any point slightly more towards our right, then you couldn't touch the corner at the same time. It's a horrific rule. We spent a long time with the RC trying to figure out how you fix it, how you word it so you can't do it, and then they just included the wording saying you could touch units right up against to avoid it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that's why you put your
to.
wizard touching the back of your base so nothing can charge.
Yeah, because then it's never possible.
Right.
But it's a cruel thing to do, Tom. But it's top table, round 6, isn't it? It's.
But what about his sport votes? No, I'm just kidding.
Right. It does feel awfully gamey. I don't know that I like
that. Yes, it's one of those moves you either know or you don't.
And unless you maybe had a discussion with the RC or people that it's come up on multiple occasions that you've actually had a discussion about it, you wouldn't necessarily know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're talking about to try to decide.
Yeah, can we explain again? People are asking how he could see it.
Because they're not on the hill. So
they've ruled they're not on the hill.
Yeah, these guys are not 50% on the hill, so that means they do not add the height of the hill to the unit's height.
Which then they can see it.
Right. Yeah. They look like they're on the hill, but if you're not 50% on the hill, you're not on the hill. You are in the hill. Just like you would be in a forest or in a pond.
Yeah.
If you're 50% on, then you add the height of the hill to your own.
Yeah. Yes.
Are they asking us?
So, yes, he can make contact with the front. I don't like it, but he can. Because the corner counts as the front. If the wizard was angled a millimeter, a point of a degree to the right, he couldn't do it because he could only touch the flank is not in. But because he's dead set on there, and they're coming in parallel with each other, you're touching the corner. It doesn't matter if you're also touching the entire whole other side of the flank. The corner counts as the facing. Yeah, bad Tom, very bad Tom.
Dirty Tom.
Dirty Tom.
Dirty Tom.
It's not the way to win, Tom. It's not the way to win.
I was messaging. This is not the way to do this, Tom.
Is what I've typed there correct?
Well, Jeremy's saying even though he can't align to the front, but you don't need to align to the front because the
individual turns
individual
towards you.
aligns to you.
Aligns to you.
You would land. The individual, I guess, would then turn. Yep. Like that.
Yep.
I don't like it, but apparently it's a thing. It hurts my feelings, and I'm not even playing.
Yeah, it's happened to me. It's happened to me twice in tournaments now. And I have never felt good about it. I've never felt good about my opponents when they do it. And I like so rarely do you hit points in Kings of War where you're like, this feels gamey. This feels like a loophole. This feels like an exploit. And Kings of War doesn't, like, one of the things I like about Kings of War is that the rules are clean enough that you don't find a whole lot of things like this. And so when you find them, it's kind of enraging because you're like, who left this pile of shit in the middle of the floor of the perfectly clean room? Right?
Yeah.
And it like makes it.
I think it's the dog called RC.
Well, and we've the RC when this kind of first sort of really came out of the US Masters. Actually, Dan King did it to Tom. To be fair, so this is where Tom learnt this was from Dan King himself, Mr. RC.
So it's all Dan's fault once again.
Blame. Okay, where's the hashtag blame Dan? Yeah,
so but then from that they went, okay, how do we fix this? How do we get rid of it for third? And we went through 100 different variations of how you might change it, and every one of them brought up more problems than it fixed. It was a minefield when you actually started getting into it. You didn't realize how much it changed around. So the general rule I say is just touch, go close up, declare you're doing it so you can't be charged, or just don't be gaming and don't do it. Tom.
Yeah. Yeah, because I guess it would only work, and it only works with flyers, right? Because otherwise you wouldn't be able to get in there.
Only works with flyers. Only works in quite specific situations like that. There could be any millimeter either way, and you wouldn't be able to do it. And that's why it only really pulls off now in UB, because it's so hard to know that you can do it accurately.
Yeah.
It's only things like UB where you can go back and forth. It's so close that I would say to my opponent, you can't possibly know you can do it, so we're not going to do it effectively. It's pixel precise to do it, but
yeah, which is like what comes down to in UB sometimes. No, Brinley, don't give him any ideas. Give him no ideas. The only way to fix
the karma gods are going to come now and double one him, and then somehow that flying thing will just explode.
So there's the Bane chant roll that we were expecting, which he gets on the foot guard.
Yeah. So I like to thematically imagine my games, and here the poor Basilian priest is wandering along safe behind his units and out of the clear blue sky. This Duke on a giant
Labrador.
A flying Labrador with a giant spiked ball in its mouth.
Just like boom.
has just booped on top of him, and is now licking him furiously to death. So
it's like falling on the ground, just helpless.
Yeah. It's death by booping at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Steve's saying in the chat that you should, you agree with your opponent that you can't do it in advance, which you often do, but you need to know it's a thing to to agree with your opponent.
Right. If he's back to like, well, there's a
We tend
half an
to have
inch.
found now that,
Right. Like your biggest thing is 50 mil. You can't possibly fit in this half inch I've left you.
Yeah.
And somebody goes, aha, but I can because
of this magic loophole.
Welcome to top
certain levels
table
of
against
PK
the
play
Dark
now.
Lord.
Yeah, at certain levels of top table now, we just started saying, look, I'm doing whatever 1 millimeter, one degree thing I need to do to prevent you doing the thing, and then we just go, yeah, you can't do the thing. But you know, you need to know to be able to call it out. So Tom was a bad person.
Yeah.
Someone
and I
also
hate that.
said like you only make this mistake once, so I didn't necessarily like would have noticed that in my own games, but now will not be doing that.
See, it's a public information broadcast.
Yeah, I don't like having knowledge tests like that in Kings of War, right?
No.
Like so, like
I
that.
think this is the
that
only one
takes you
I
back
really.
to. Yeah, currently it's the only one. Yeah, because that takes you back to Warhammer, where like, okay, I didn't memorize your army's entire book of rules, so what crap are you going to pull on me that I won't know whether I should argue with or whatever? Yeah. But like you say, it only happens once.
And I would like to leave that as from a positive side, which is there aren't many of them.
No, right.
They're
There's really not. I think this is the only one I'm aware of.
And also, I think like Elliot said, the solution here is just make sure your guy doesn't leave that half inch and touch the back of your base.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
The
Welcome
solution is
to the
no
top.
one will drink with you after the tournament if you do this to someone.
Yeah, welcome to the top table, Mark, against the Dark Lord himself.
Yeah. This is why you play in the kiddie pool with me.
But
we're not smart enough to pull shit like this.
let's
So here's the so the Palace Guard, or excuse me, the Foot Guard Horde didn't do a whole lot of wounds to Nias, did they?
Well, it's hard to tell with Mark's baby markers.
8, yeah, so 8 damage by the look of it, I think.
So he's up to 11.
Yeah, it's the 6 to break twice. It's Oh no,
Yeah,
but he
rolled a 5.
Yeah, so it's like he broke it and then wavered him.
And the Elohi are
Nias
still
is
there.
headstrong, though, like,
so when we were talking about all this, what did the shooting do?
He shot at the wizard with the boomstick and put a couple wounds on it.
Okay.
So
yeah,
the
I need to point out,
Elohi
Tom
and Nias
is in
are
Dark
still.
Lord. Dark Lord is definitely Dan. As soon as that is Dan's forum name, everything name.
And then, so he didn't end up breaking the Elohi regiment?
He did not. He put 6 wounds on it, but didn't get it. So
that's pretty sad for the Honor Guard.
Also, now, can we zoom in? Does that put the Elohi in the Honor Guard flank?
Looks like it, but I'm not sure they could contact there, actually, with the organ gun.
No.
It is.
Yeah, because they lost one, so they can't.
I think that's why he left the organ gun there.
Nias makes his headstrong roll.
Instead of backing up or doing something else. So.
Yes, he does have headstrong. And it looks like after all the arguing and hemming and hawing about the rule, the Duke did a total of 2 wounds to the priest, and he's still there. So
yeah, good.
He can't Bane chant anything or heal anything this turn, but there's not really much to Bane chant or heal in his range.
No, I mean, actually, after all that, in the end, the situation is probably almost worse for Tom because he would have been, if he'd gone straight forward and angled, he'd be in a better angle than he is now. Shutting down Bane chant is a shame, I suppose, for one turn. But
it's not a critical term for Bane chant either, though.
Exactly, yeah. So actually, for all that, in the end, he might have even been better just going straight forward and pivoting 90. He would have a better angle than he does now for being able to see things.
Yeah.
And yeah, just sort of final point on that, for coming from James about TOs banning it, it's impossible to ban because at what level do you say it's banned? Do you say that there has to be a full 50 mil gap for 50 mil to fit in? Well, then why would that make sense? Because an individual can definitely do the thing. It's so hard. At what level do you say it's gamey and that it's banned?
Yeah, I wouldn't ban it. It would just be one of those things that I, as the TO, would announce before the tournament for everyone to, like, a helpful reminder. Everyone remember this thing exists, and make sure when you're moving your individuals, if you think they're in danger, to put them close and tell your opponent that's what you're doing.
Can you do me a quick favor and zoom in on Nias? Sorry to bump off this. Does
Okay.
Nias have
No.
room to back up at all, turn, and then flank charge the
That's a
battle
very good
shrine?
point. Yeah. Is he in the flank of the battle shrine? Oh, he's moved him now. But
He was, I think.
He was.
I think it might have been close.
I'm not
Um,
sure if he would be able to fit through that gap. Oh, but he's nimble, isn't he?
Well, the Elohai will
nimble.
move over when they countercharge.
Yep.
Oh, good point. Yeah, if he'd countercharged the Elohi first, he definitely could have corkscrewed and hit that
But
battle
I think he
shrine.
might have just been at the front, looking where that front is.
Yeah,
would have
it's
to
always
be
hard to
quite far.
tell. It's hard to
Yeah.
tell with a chariot base because their front arc is so much smaller than you, or like tighter than
Yeah.
you think it would be. But I thought he might have been in that flank, and if he was, he could have done
It was definitely
nimble Naya
definitely
stuff.
very close. Now that
And
would have been a
looks-
nice charge there.
It looks like he is taking the flank charge with the swordsman regiment, and he moves Samacris up to keep them from hindering themselves
Very
in that
nice.
field.
Yeah, very-
That
Uh,
works.
That's
but they
smart.
will be definitely in the front arc of the Night Horde. I don't know that you want to send the Night Horde into the flank of those swordsmen. That seems like a
Yeah.
bad place to put your knights.
I
No.
feel like
Yeah, yeah.
that's just let's just put that there and let the Ogre Palace Guard get right in there if you mess it up.
Your knight's job is basically to murder that entire left flank one by one if you
Right.
can.
Right.
I'm also seeing like with Tom sometimes he's very good about like just because he has a charge with the Night Horde, he doesn't always take it. Like they kind of sit back, they're ready, they pick their charges. He's very good at picking his charges with them about when it's the best
Yeah.
for him.
Yeah.
If I had a 300 plus Night Horde, I'd want to charge it every turn.
Yeah.
And it's probably not the right thing to do.
Yeah, I
So
I
just to sort of point
experimented
out
with
the thing
like
that
the
happened,
That's why I bring two.
so yeah, just a few other things happened that turn while we were discussing Tom's nastiness. The Night Horde looks like it span round to face down center of the board, and the troop did 2 damage to the Elohai.
Oh yeah, the knights are facing the other way now. I wonder if that seems weird. I wonder if that's a mistake.
Yeah.
And they're supposed to be facing forward.
Or is he going
Unless he's
hunting?
going for the Elohai. Yeah.
But can't the Elohai just make a hard turn, back up, hard turn, and run out?
But he would
Walk
but
away,
he loses nimble, no?
Yeah, so he was facing down, so he's countercharged by this point, so he's spun round already.
Okay.
But he's lost nimble, so I don't think there's any way there he could have got out of the charge arc.
Okay.
Interesting.
These knights
Yeah,
really want to kill that Elohai.
Yeah, it just seems Tom's put a lot of value in shutting down that Elohai.
Interesting. Yeah, I
But I mean
remember,
also it's like go ahead.
Go ahead.
Mike.
Okay, I was just gonna say I remember experimenting with hordes of knights when third edition first came out, and people were talking about how great they were going to be, and they just didn't fit my play style because it's a whole lot of like waiting for that right charge, and I feel like I'm with you on like, no, I want to charge everything. I put so many points into them, I want to throw them out there, but like they're not really a great hammer. At least the Revenant Cabinet isn't a great hammer. It's a wonderful mobile anvil, so you just have to think about them like they're slightly faster Revenants on foot.
Yeah.
That's the way to think. That they're just super infantry that happen to have speed 8 occasionally
Right.
when you need it.
Every once in a while, either once in a game or even just the threat of, it's infantry that can actually threaten an alpha strike.
Right.
But they 90% of the time they're fighting as infantry. But that threat of like, hey, I could hit you with a Thunderous 2 charge plus Brew of Strength out of nowhere with these if you let me. So you have to do a bunch of stuff to not let that happen.
Right.
Because you know if you let me get that fresh, beautiful, unhindered charge on you, you did.
It's
But you have
it's
to
big.
bring the support pieces to deliver it, and so you pretty much have to build your list around delivering knights.
Yeah, my support piece is a second Night Horde.
Sure.
Redundant Night Hordes. I love it.
It's exactly it's the Kingdoms of Men way.
Right.
Like we don't have the best of anything, but we might have the most of
We
it.
have a lot of it. Yeah.
Right.
The
Take
the
two, they're
High
cheap.
Court on the right, is that currently in charge range of the ogres?
I'm pretty sure.
I'm just wondering.
Yeah.
Is the
They're
best play with the ogres there to back away? I don't.
But
I
if
don't
you
see any
back away, I
benefit
think
in
you
doing
open up your
High Court.
flank to the scouts too, which
If you
you
back
might
up
not
too
care
far,
about.
yeah.
But
Can't go too far, yeah.
Yeah, and this is not the Ogre Palace Guard horde over here on the right with Strider. That's the one in the middle. If he did decide to go into the front of the Pike horde, he would be hindered going through the woods.
Hindered and ensnare. So yeah, it would be.
So hitting on 5s.
Yeah.
And he'd be
Not
walking
ideal.
away from a token to do that. And pretty much
Which then
leaving
the
it to-
scouts could just burn because they're
Right.
because they could just go over there and burn it, and then you lose that one that's in your.
Yeah, it's true. I have to say this isn't how I expected this game to play out at first. I thought that I did expect Tom to be more aggressive with the Night Horde and would be looking for more of a sort of encircling in all those units. He's quite happy, I think, to play the long game here, isn't he?
I think he seems like a very patient player in my like.
I have seen the opposite sometimes. I think he can be patient, but I think a lot of times his natural tendency is to throw something in and mess up the other person. That seems to have been, I remember in the exhibition match against Pat Allen, he threw his Night Horde right into the middle of Pat's lines.
Deal with this.
And used it extremely aggressively. I know against Brindley, he played a lot on the back foot, but I think that was a testament to Brindley's army and his generalship that put Tom on the back foot more so than his natural demeanor playing that way.
I meant more that he like. I think he has enough plans to get him that he has a plan going through to turn 5. So,
Yeah.
Like he's a
I
long game. I don't mean that he necessarily doesn't play aggressively. I mean, like, I think he can play aggressively, but knows what his long game is.
Sure.
And he's okay to like play that out.
So we're the charge from Nias and the flank charge should not break this foot guard.
No.
No.
Because they don't have like 2-handed weapons or anything, right? So
No.
That's
And they hit
fine.
on 4s, so you're looking at 12 hits, 4-ish wounds.
And the Battle Shrine is rally 2.
So
Yeah. There's a lot of nerve there.
So they're 23, 25.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's just mean.
Defense 5, yeah.
That hurts my feelings. I want my rally 2 back in for my captain. In my Kingdoms of Men.
So it looks like he has managed. Well, let's see. No, I think that's out. I think he has managed to get the priest out of the way of the Duke on Giant Flying Chicken.
Yeah, the more I say, for all the controversy of it, I do think that just flying behind would have been a better move. He's not really in a great angle here now, and if he'd have flown behind and pivoted, he would have forced that Ogre Palace Guard to pivot even more to guard its flanks.
Yep.
And throw them completely out of position, sort of for the rest of the combat.
I mean, he still has a baby dragon in the backfield, which is he's still in a good spot. He might have been in a better. He did shut down a small heal, like he shut down a small heal on the wizard.
I think, isn't it? I don't think it's got the item.
Yeah,
It's
it's not a great.
There's nothing over there to heal this turn though, or really Bane Chant. Those are the two spells.
The wizard.
Oh, the wizard. He could heal the wizard.
From shooting, yeah.
Because that's the goal. Is Tom's now trying to shut off his shooting, entirely, and then he can play the long game. This I like. Once those knights turned around, throw everything forward.
Completely, yeah.
And that
Because-
far left one, even if
there's
they
no
run
threat
off
to
the
them
hill,
and
are
you're
definitely going to be able to
dictated
see
there.
them.
I mean, the more I look at it, the more I'm amazed that Honor Guard Horde only did 6 damage to those Alohi. I know they were hindered, but it was still 3s.
They have sharpness,
Yeah.
Yep, it was bad roll. They should have been, because Honor Guard are what, 18 attacks?
Yes, but they're Crush 1, Thunderous 2 now, I think, aren't they? So they're not.
Yeah.
The Crush 1, Thunder 1.
They used to be, because they used to be absolute tin up as well.
Yeah, I guess so. So 3s and 3s, he's only down a couple points.
Yeah, actually, it's
6.
only you'd be hoping for about 9, wouldn't you?
I think I'm just imagining them in the open with the full -3 to people's armor.
Didn't they used to have 24 attacks and all of the crushing and thunderous and all of the everything?
Yes.
Turns out the knights turned around. He said in the chat there.
Oh, did you not
he's
mean
forward.
to turn them around? Like,
Just in case anybody watching from home hadn't realized the knights were facing downfield.
So I wonder if it moved those regiments up thinking the knights were facing them because actually I really like the move with the knights facing the wrong way, but
Oh yeah,
it's
because now the
I
knights
think
have
I
to
like the
drop
move
it.
either way because it's just
Yeah.
kind of like
yeah,
the knights are
agree.
gonna go when they're ready to go. So
Or you're gonna have to
foot guard.
put these two wizards right in front of these two regiments to hold them up for a turn, but then you lose.
You
your
don't
knight
even
points.
need to yet. You're gonna go blow up the next turn. You're gonna go blow up the Urlo High. Hopefully,
Yeah.
you're gonna get your reform. Like I would actually get the scouts out of that combat in a way to open up your reform options with the knights. You're gonna turn to face. You only need to chaff one of those units, and then you take them one at a time.
And it's possible that one of them won't be able to see because of the hill. It all depends where the low high ends up, etc.
And this is why the Arales being back there is so scary. He left one Paladin Guard and the Palace Guard, who are the things that can actually kill the knights. I'm not saying that Paladin Guard would kill the knights, but what you need is a bunch of stuff hitting them, or the Palace Guard, and those are a long way away from those knights with difficult terrain between them, which will slow down the Palace Guard. So
it does look at the moment that Samacris has given up a flank to the Arales to get that non-hindered charge, and she'll be out of arc with everything. So the Arales will be out of arc of everything as well.
Yeah, that's rough.
So it would be a hindered charge. It's not massive, but it's I'm not even sure if that's worth it with Radiance of Life, regen, and everything.
It's only if you're worried about her doing something else. You sit her down, but if you don't have someone to smash her once you sit her down, it's not really.
No. Although I suppose maybe the honor guard might be arriving soon.
Soon.
Probably.
eventually, maybe questionable.
So on to shooting. I wonder what the shooting target is here. Is it still the boomstick wizard? Oh, sorry, wrong army.
Wrong side.
Yeah, who's the boomstick shooting at? It's got to be the knights.
I was about to say yes. The boomstick will be shooting.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're doing
You're a
this now.
boomstick.
Oh, whoops.
I don't know if you're doing this now, Mike, but
Just sorry, my bad.
They're Balians now, okay, Alex? You leave the Balians alone.
I am now calling them organ funds, though.
Organ funds? Yeah, those are
Organ
funds is a new thing.
As long as it's ironically. That's definitely not fun.
Yeah, I was like, does anyone say it unironically?
Oh, I do. I'm a dwarf player. I love them. The Rordia ones are better, but
yeah, they're very good.
Oh, so he's going for a wizard. I think that's a good target, actually. These wizards are... There's a real potential these wizards are what will win the game because they're just flying unit strength.
Yep.
It just means that every single token is...
So 4 wounds again onto them.
A second decent lightning bolt.
He's shooting for his own life, right?
Yeah.
This is counter battery fire. Those are about to kill you.
10, 12 there, so 6 to waver, 8 to pop. And that is the one with the
fire arrows
boomstick.
on the individual did, I think, 2 or 3 damage, but it barely anything, and it wandered off.
Heal a low high.
Campbell stepped in and decided that the priest wasn't going to die.
Yep.
How is the wizard casting? Didn't it get punched in the face?
I think this is Samacris.
Oh, this is Samacris. Okay.
Yeah, Samacris casting.
And there was the other wizard that got just shot.
Yeah.
That was up on the hill.
Priest can't cast, but the wizard and the Samacris can.
Yeah, exactly.
So heals 2 off of the Elohi regiment fighting in the woods against the honor guard.
So down to 4 wounds, right?
Yep.
Oh, I would love a waiver here.
Oh, a cheeky waiver.
On the honor guard.
It wouldn't matter because you just activate your
you pop your
will.
And that's one of the things that makes Rordia such a strong list. Is they have when you look at the top list, you look at the top list in CTA, a lot of it is sort of waiver or wound or like problem mitigation. You look at Undead, who have a lot of fearless units. Rordia has the ability to basically turn off waivers. Some of the armies have ways around it. But it's minimizing that randomness And
That's a
anytime you can
waiver on the
minimize,
Mounted Scouts.
Yeah, 4 wounds to them, and then 6 for nerf, so
Yep.
up to
They
10.
don't-
So
they
yeah,
don't
waiver. Which
they don't
actually
care.
means that if they do, if that
Oh,
honor guard
left.
take that charge they're talking about, it limits their reform options because it's going to be
No,
harder.
they're gonna back
They're
up.
gonna
just back up. Oh yeah, I guess
gonna
they have
back
that
up.
all that
They're
speed. They
also
can just
nimble.
back right up.
Here's
Yeah.
Naya
That's how
speeding
fast
up on
they were.
infantry horde. Does 5 wounds.
Damage.
Not
Good
bad.
start, but shouldn't matter.
Yeah, unless
Exactly average.
12 hits. Yeah, on 24 dice. Looking for what, 4s? So 7.
Bit over average.
That's up.
Mhm.
Was it 4s? Are these Crush One of the versions?
Are they?
No, that's a foot guard horde, isn't it? Defense 4.
Defense 5,
Oh,
unless he did it 2-handed weapons.
let's see if the swordsmen have.
Anyway.
crushing strength.
Fine,
They
fine
don't.
anyway.
Yeah, they don't
Yeah, so it's
have an option to
it's
take
taking
2
two more
hand
damage.
weapons.
No, they
one
don't,
more
right? Because
damage
they're
extra there, but
League of Warrior ones don't have the option, right?
yeah. So it's taking a point more than he should have done there, but
Oof.
Oh, but which
Ooh.
those are?
So the Elohi regiment whiffs completely.
Yep.
I mean they were dead anyway.
Wait a minute. He didn't even take Thunderous.
Yeah. I mean, oh yeah. So it'll be counter charge, so it's not hindered. So jump straight into 3. The Night Horde is hopefully going to absolutely obliterate that early high.
Glad you healed up that Aloha regiment.
Yeah.
Well,
So as we said, yeah, he's backed up the troop. Has got amount of scouts and just charging with the horde.
yep. And then I expect that horde to basically align so that they are sort of aligned with the rock and facing that direction, back towards the main units, and something will chaff up one of those so it doesn't take a double charge. It can take a single from the foot guard and then just fights. And at some point the battle shrine's going to start. It still has heal, right? Or is it just lightning bolt?
Let me look.
I think it's just.
Come on. It's got lightning bolt 6 and rally 2.
Yeah, so he doesn't have any wound removal in this list, which means all that stuff on the foot guard horde is going to stick.
Which is a fair amount, actually. Like he's at 12.
It looks like over here on the right, he has sent the pike horde into the ogres.
Ooh,
Those are going to be hindered.
It'll be hindered, yeah. I don't know about that either. They are out of 3 of the tokens, so they can't contest it where they are, or even burn it away from them. Are they 1 more unit strength than the ogres?
They're
really
both
read these
hordes,
lists.
right?
Yeah, but one's an infantry horde, so they're unit strength 4. And Palace Guard are Ogre Palace Guard
Unit
are
strength
3.
3. So that's
yeah,
why I think that's why he has that little measure. He had that little measuring tape. He was measuring where 3 was from the tokens that his front of his base wasn't within 3.
So yeah, he can screen them off from it and keep the point. And if he thinks he's going to die, he can burn it away.
I guess the Palace Guard have low enough nerve that he's figuring if he sticks a few wounds on them now, even just a few, he starts winning that race. More so than if the Palace Guard charged him.
And there's nothing else going on that flank, so why wait?
You can just grind over there and you'll win that grind probably for the pike horde.
Yeah.
30 attacks on 5s, you're doing 10. No crush, no nothing. So what you're doing, like 3? 3 point something damage to them.
Just working out if he rolled nerve on the whiz. That's not a question, that's a statement. I was about to tell them that they didn't. Because that was a 6. 6 to waver, 8 to break, and they never rolled it.
No.
Yeah, that's what they can scroll back up, can't they? Yeah, they'll do. So
you can find it. Okay.
Yeah, they healed and then forgot one right on.
Yes, Brindley.
Apparently, someone said, did they even roll the nerve check against the foot guard horde?
Yes, they did.
They did, okay.
I think it was a bit something and nothing.
Love that so much. Brindley's having PTSD from the rear charge the scout cav took.
So it is a
7.
waiver on the wizard.
Yep, and that is the one with
Yep.
the boomstick. So that's lightning bolt 6, not happening next turn.
That's lovely. That's lovely for Mark.
It is, because it's also it's now going to have to back up to get out of charge range, because it can be seen over that hill.
Yep.
So it's forcing, forcing Tom to do things he might not necessarily want to do.
We'll see how it ultimately works out, right? But he was faced with a gun line, not a true Adam Padley gun line, but a gun line compared to what he had.
Yeah,
a gun line compared to what he actually had. And what he did is he threw units in to create chaos. He made Bane Chance happen instead of lightning bolts. He's wavered one with his own small amount of counter shooting. He's done all this stuff, and now that gun line, while still possibly effective turning back on in later turns, this turn is not taking off units, which there was another version of this game where he wasn't as aggressive, and he's just watching regiments get pulled off right now by a
absolutely, yeah. No, he made the totally right choice there. Just to make, well, we've said before, haven't we? Make Tom answer questions. Throw everything in there, disrupt everything, make it so it's not an easy, obvious sit back and shoot. It looks like the Duke might be trying to flank Samacris.
I think so.
Which is what we were saying he could do, but we weren't sure if he wanted to do. But apparently Tom wants it. He wants that juicy flank.
I'm surprised he's gone for that, actually, because
he's going after Samacris's side boob.
I used to play Samacris a lot, and Tom knows Samacris and knows just how hard she is to kill. So whether he's just seen an opportunity to get her, but he shouldn't break her when he's hindered there on the flank. And then, although I'm guessing that those honor guard are within 14 of her. They do look at it from here. I hope he's not left him there, because that's terrible. Oh no, it's perfect, isn't it? Looking at the model wrong.
Like he's checking the reform options on his Night Hordes to make sure he's good with that.
Yeah, and I think the plan there is to just sit her down. I have a feeling that Tom will end the game with some very injured hordes. And Samacris flying around the board with her very, very nasty piercing fireball is perfect for finishing off injured foot guard hordes or injured night hordes. And I think he's seen a chance to sit her down and punch her with something, and is taking it.
She's also going to really struggle there to get away from the honor guard.
Yeah,
who are supposedly going to blow that Aloha regiment up this turn. And that's a really nice jumping off point for the Aloha to charge Samacris and then spin around after killing her. That'd be a really nice position for them to be in. So maybe he's just thinking, she's there, we can grab her. So he's sending a chaff wizard in. So as you said, he's only going to be taking one regiment at a time.
And then this is the whole as he is forcing these, Tom doesn't want to use these wizards as chaff. They can be, but they're what he would really love these things to be doing. I think he's trying to find a way, where he can still get his lightning bolt shots on the
without cover,
which is the fun move. So he's still going to try and finish off that boomstick wizard. They're good. When I build like Kingdoms of Men, which has access to the same things, or Rordia, I sort of, whatever the point value is, you sort of build up to like 1700, and then you just add the Air Force. You're just like, here's 500 more points of things on flyers.
How many points are there? They're sort of close to gargoyle level points, aren't they? But
they're stupidly cheap.
But then they also have lightning bolt just on top of being chaff.
I love me lightning bolt. I just wrote a new Kingdoms of Men list that has a bunch of wizards on Pegasus and heroes on Pegasus and general on winged beasts, and I love it, and I feel so dirty, and I love it. I'm not very good with it, so like it's fine. My opponents will be fine. Yeah.
It's not filthy because I'm not good.
It's Kings of Men. It's fluffy. It can't be filthy.
That's right.
Yeah,
So
at
do you think so?
at base
I'm not
price
sure.
without other spells, it's 85 points for a
Yeah,
wizard
so
on a
exact,
peg.
exact same cost of a gaggle troop.
Yeah.
But for 2 more points of nerve, point of defense. No, 3 more points of nerve, point of defense. Lightning bolt 3. And yeah, very very
Like
good.
Looks like he might be thinking about moving the organ gun or trying to figure out if he can see.
Oh yeah.
Looks like he's going to try to shoot at the swordsman.
Yeah, why not? You've got a shot there, and it's
Why not?
With cover.
What
somewhere.
is- no, really.
Never mind. Gun wasn't loaded.
No.
Just kidding.
And now the scouts
so-
on the swordsman in the top
Begins the
right.
very slow piddling down of this unit, although 4 hits isn't bad. 2 damage.
I feel bad for Mark on that one because this is just going to feel terrible.
Yeah,
Just
there's
that
just
unit
nothing
just
you can
getting
do
shot
about
off. Do you burn the
Yeah.
token?
Not this turn, but next turn probably.
I think you probably do burn it eventually.
There's a Bane chant on the foot horde.
But they're now, are they in the rear of those ogres as well?
Yep.
Which is just sad. So, lightning bolts, where's that going to go to? I'm guessing the boomstick wizard. Oh no, the priest.
Interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah.
More concerned about him having Bane chant and heal.
Turn
Or
off
the
the
inspiring,
Bane chant.
actually.
Or the inspiring,
shooting
good
down
point.
an inspiring toss.
Mhm.
Oof.
Because after this turn, he's potentially going to be quite light on inspiring. I think if
Yep.
this priest dies, it's going to be
kills.
just Samachris.
Yeah, if he kills all the Elohi, yeah.
Yeah, so he's doubling down. That one missed completely. Yeah, because I'm imagining Nace is going to die. The Elohi should die. So it is just going to be Samachris holding the fort.
Yeah,
So
so
they're inspiring.
six rolled on the foot guard, won't get them. And then a 4 will not do anything to that priest, because that's just a 9. So
Yeah.
he's okay. Well, he's not okay, but he's not wavered. He's an 11,
Was that on
13.
that might have been on the regiment, actually, because he's just unresolved the regiment.
No, that first roll of a 6 was on the regiment, and then the 10 and the 4 was on the priest.
Right.
Yeah. And now on to combat.
Now the rear charge.
96.
Oh, God. God,
96.
that's a lot of dice.
It was actually a terrible roll.
That is a terrible roll.
Yeah, you hate to see
Uh,
only 57 hits.
Yeah.
And
How
not
many
lots of
wounds?
snakes.
45
Yeah.
wounds.
Notable one.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Just
He's
roll
fine.
nerves.
Only 38 wounds. It was only Thunderous 2. Or is it?
Yeah.
Off the hill too, though, right?
Oh, it's
Off the
Burst
hill.
Strength, yeah. So yeah, it was 2s.
So it's only the bottom of 3, right? And if this was an actual tournament, is this one of those instances where your opponent looks at you and says, "So I should just snake that," and you say yes, or do you make him burn a whole bunch of clock by saying,
always,
"No,
always,
roll it out.
always
It's
roll
only turn 3. You
I
have
have-
plenty of time. Go ahead and spend
I
5
have,
minutes rolling dice."
Yeah. I'm very much with Nick Williams on this one. Roll out every single roll, and have your opponent do the same. I'll never ever say just snake it. It's just cleaner and simpler, and people jump too quick. I mean, in that instance, yes, it was definitely double ones, but people jump sometimes to say double ones too easily,
I think
especially when
that's
you're fighting war engines.
I see it all the time on war engines where someone's like, you want me to double one that? And I'm like, this is a dwarf war engine. You're actually probably on 7 twice. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
So this roll here is the
So this was the Pike Horde who
Pike
did
It's only got 9 hits.
two damage, and then down to 1 with Iron Resolve.
yeah, they were odds looking at about 3.
Yeah.
So it's not down much at all. That's
So
that's
it's
totally
like
within
9
the
more
range.
damage to Naeus, and yeah, so Naeus has died from the Horde.
Mm-hmm.
did his best.
Well,
He took a round of
He did his
shooting
best,
and
and
2
that
charges.
Horde took
so-
some damage going down.
Yeah.
He was on 12 damage. That's not nothing.
And there's no healing in Tom's list, so that's
There's
stays.
just the Radiance of Life from the from the big flying Labrador.
Yeah.
So nothing that's going to do much to a 12 hard on 12 damage.
Yeah, turn 15, they'll be good.
Yeah.
We just keep
So long
going.
as everybody avoids them, does nothing to them from now on. So this is the one that's it should go straight through these 16 hits. Yeah, twos I think, isn't it? Yeah, 14 damage. Yeah, super dead.
Dead.
12 and a 10.
Dead.
Easily picks it
And
up.
I think sidestep here, do you, most likely? Just to give yourself a bit more wriggle room around your own horde.
Yeah, it's a pivot or a sidestep, something to line you up for.
Now, interestingly, that swordsman regiment probably can get into that on a guard horde. And obviously, it can't. Ooh,
You can
That's
see it.
mentioned the
Isn't that a
flank
flank there too?
yeah, it's whether it fits in that gap.
Yeah, whether you can pivot around this corner of the foot guard. And
It's
still get
that
down
can
there.
he?
tricky.
Yeah, the
I
two
don't think
questions
it would.
are: can he hit the corner, and can he actually fit in
Yeah.
that spot?
I don't think he can hit the corner. I think looking at it, I think he'll skim in at the front there.
Yeah, no, I don't think he'll be able to turn far enough. I think he would fit like all the way up here on the corner, hanging way out the
Yeah.
forest. But I don't think he'll make the pivot.
Yeah, it looks really tight because 3 inches is almost 80 millimeters. It's like 76 something or whatever. So,
But
It's a little
I'm
more
guessing
than 3
Tom's doing
inches.
that just to give himself all the options now. So he's got
yeah,
Ark on
he's-
the. Is he in the flank of the Ogre Palace Guard or the front?
oh, they're checking. They're checking the.
He'd spotted it anyway, so he's one way or the other he'll position himself so he's finished where he's safe, I think.
Yeah.
Is he overlapping his own gun there? Or is he alright?
He is slightly overlapping his own gun.
Completely overlapping.
Naughty,
Blatant
naughty.
cheating from top there.
Cheating.
My screenshot. that.
Blatant cheating.
Tom Robinson cheating scandal. Top table cheating
Yeah.
scandal.
Half a millimeter overlap. How could he?
He hasn't rolled Samicus, has he? Or did Samicus, was it only 4 damage? Did I miss that roll? Yeah, so there's 4 damage on it, so it's probably about right, to be honest. It's falls
Yeah.
and threes, it's not much.
All right, top of 4 here. So your mark, you currently actually do have a score advantage in terms of tokens held. But you're now down in terms of scoring units.
Yeah, and only just
And
having a score
inspired.
advantage.
Yeah.
So what are your priority tokens, really? So I suppose the middle is the only one that can't get deleted out from under you. And
Yep.
I think that's what he's got to focus on. It's sad, but I think you have to delete the one with that the men at arms are currently on. I would consider deleting it this turn, the very top right one, just so that you're freeing up your men at arms to come and join the rest of the fight.
Yeah. Well, and plus with the top right one, there's a chance by the end you're going to die up there eventually to some shooting or whatever. And if it's contested, if those mounted sergeants get up there, there's nothing you can do about it. Like you don't
No.
have the resources to deal with it by the time that happens.
Yeah,
I think there's a
you have to delete
tricky-
that top one now.
I think there's a problem up there for him, which is this turn in the very top right. Those mid-at-arms need to push forward and threaten and help out that palace guard, because the palace guard are going to lose. But you only burn the token at the end of your turn. So
Right.
if it wants to leave that spot, it's leaving that token. I
It
almost
has
wish
to
he had
leave
burned it last round.
Yeah. I think you push up as far as you can while still staying within 3. And then burn it at the end of your turn. It's not
Yeah.
much, but it's something.
Yeah.
It just means that they can't. At the moment, it looks as if they can maybe the cav troop can still flank the horde and still be out of charge range of the men at arms, which would be bad. You need to make them at least have to trade for it rather than getting a.
Who are you saying would flank what?
So if the Mounted Sergeants reared the Ogre Palace Guard,
Yeah, they would rear them, not flank. So
yeah, I'm not sure they'd be in charge range of the Swordsman troop at the top in retaliation. So I think he needs to push down a little bit just to make sure it's even if he does that, then it's they're at least getting charged for the troubles. Oh, actually, no,
they
should
be in. Yeah,
easily in. So he sent the regiment into the horde, the swordsman regiment into the
Footguard.
damaged horde.
Yep.
He's getting near a chance. The priest isn't wavered. A Bane chant can be thrown there, depending if he wants to give it there or the horde, or I mean against the night horde. Yeah. I mean, we're looking at 6 hits. I almost wish Tom could have pivoted in a way that hindered that charge, but oh well. Like took the charge in the forest, but 6 hits should be 2 wounds without a Bane chant, 3 with. I mean, you should be okay-ish with the rally there. Is there inspiring?
Yes, one of the flying wizards is inspiring. I'm not sure which one.
Let me check. I think isn't
the Duke
yes,
very?
The Duke is very inspiring. Yeah. So
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Also, the Bane chant Pegasus wizard is also inspiring.
So your foot guard should be safe. I would Bane chant the other side with the Night Horde. Because the paladins hitting on 3s have a better chance to do more damage with that Bane chant than the.
Yeah, especially they should have elite as well, shouldn't they? Because the defenders are still.
Yep.
Oh no, the defenders are in the top corner next to the next to the ogres.
I thought they were in the middle. I'm so used to seeing them in the middle of a 3.
They're usually in the middle.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of an odd deployment choice myself.
Yeah. Mark's keeping us on our toes.
Have to check the units. See what's what. So Mark taking a minute here to figure out, I guess, what his plan is for the rest of the game. Yeah, it's a very big turn.
Mark, this will be the turn really that dictates how he tries to go for the scenario win.
Yep. And I mean, Mark's looking at the clock. We're only in an hour and 37 in. Yeah. All games this round have to be 4 hours plus. So he's doing his part now. He's running some errands. He's taking a quick nap, doing some curling. Yeah. I don't know, drinking maple syrup, whatever it is that's going on over here.
Go chop down a tree. I think by sending the Duke into the flank of Samothrace there, I would really have preferred the Duke to be at the top above those two, the regiment and the Palace Guard Horde, because it's now meant that they can move into the middle sort of unopposed. Yeah. And it becomes a fair fight again. I really preferred him at the back, in the rear, everything. Yeah. Just because in the rear, he'll one-shot the Ogre Palace Guard. And then you had Honor Guard coming up. I'm not sure I liked that charge into Samothrace.
Yeah, I just think he's sitting it down.
Yeah. I think what you've lost from position, I don't think you've gained from shutting Samothrace down.
Yeah. He is at least in a safe space. Like there's nothing threatening him right now.
Well, the interesting thing for me is that if that top right token is burned, we're looking at
4 to 1.
Of course, why not?
2 regens and a Radiance of Life.
So there's the furthest right token. There's the one in between the building and the forest, and then there's the one sitting right in the middle of next to the foot guard, the 2 wizards, and the battle shrine. And I think right now, regardless of what happens with that middle token, those 3 are looking at Tom trying to win. Yeah, he wins the game with that battle line, and I see it very hard for Mark to punch through, especially without mobile pieces like Samothrace. So I think if he picks up Samothrace and the Honor Guard is sitting on that token that's in front of them, it's going to be very hard for Mark to stop that. Yeah, but we'll see.
Yeah, so a good reason to go for Samarkand, I suppose. So
I'm
he's
just looking
charged
at
the
it
regiment
like,
into the horde,
yeah.
and charged the other regiment into the wizard.
Yeah, I mean, you're stuck with that one.
Yeah.
But I just feel like he's trying to shut down all of the tricky pieces that Mark has, like everything left that's maneuverable or tricky or dangerous. And
Yeah.
he's going to be stuck with sort of a couple infantry regiments or an infantry regiment and the Palace Guard horde in the middle. And that's very predictable. Dangerous, but predictable. So removing uncertainty and removing choices from Mark by going after Samarkand is what I think is happening.
Yeah. So the Ogre Palace Guard, I think, have to turn and look at Samarkand expecting the Honor Guard to charge you, don't they, I think? Just as a counterpunch there.
Those honor guard though, do they have any pathfinder or anything?
They've got sharpness, which is effectively the same thing.
Yeah, because it negates the.
They'll just lose one Thunderous, but they're crush one Thunderous too.
So yeah, it's just then it's 3s and 3s, which is still, ow.
It should be 8 damage against a defense 5. It's the standard sort of hammer math on a large infantry horde. 3s and 3s.
Take your math home with you, Brenton.
And she's fearless 15, I think, isn't she? So she's not low nerve, but not very high. Plus the Duke in the front.
It does.
Yeah, but I'm also meaning later if he turns for those Ogre Palace Guard, like taking a charge from the Honor Guard into terrain, they're still going to be like 3s and 3s.
Yeah.
And they're 15, 17. So
yeah, and Mark still hasn't turned these Palace Guard or these Paladin Defenders. I mean, one thing flying the Duke back there at least did was cause them to turn to face towards the left. So now there's nothing looking at these Honor Guard to even challenge them as they move up, right?
And what I honestly think, it's tough though, because as you don't want to take the charge from the Palace Guard as the Honor Guard. Unhindered, they could pick you up. So it's that tricky game. I don't know, like you want to kill Samarkand, but then you're stuck in no man's land if they've turned. You have nothing to threaten them. So if you kill Samarkand, you need to keep the Duke in a place to chaff them up, and then you lose the Duke, which is fine, but we'll see.
You don't even necessarily lose the Duke, do you? The Duke defensively, the Duke is exactly the same as the Honor Guard horde.
Yeah.
So I agree. You would definitely put the Duke in the way. That would be the play there.
I did love the idea currently if he had done more to Samarkand or something else had happened, that the Duke just kept going and then hit the other Palace Guard in the flank.
Yeah. Just bouncing around the entire field.
He's just crossed the entire board in like 3 charges.
Very, very good boy.
Yeah, there's a slight difference though. The Duke is 15-17 and the Honor Guard is 16-18 with Indomitable Will.
Oh, of course, they're a bit more out of this.
Yeah. And a waiver doesn't buy you anything like it would against the Duke. But still, that's a tiny difference.
This is don't know what this is. Somebody's moving wound markers around. I think it was just the priest moving.
Yeah. The wound marker is bigger than the priest.
Yeah.
His blood pile. I mean for throwing chaos into this game, I'm really hoping that men-at-arms that charge the foot guard wildly skews their roll and takes them out.
I do always love a little bit of chaos.
I'm not rooting for anyone in this match. I just want to see tough choices for both sides, and that would start to give Tom some tough choices.
It would. It wouldn't be the worst thing in the world because of the level of shooting to the left pointing at them.
Yeah.
But it would make the scenario play a lot more interesting.
Yeah. If that center token isn't a given for Tom, this gets more interesting.
Absolutely.
But there is still an organ gun alive, which now has targets.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And an organ gun and a battle shrine with lightning bolt 6 still sitting there.
Yeah.
And another wizard.
And the boomstick wizard and another one. Yeah.
Although I'm guessing the boomstick wizard is going to lightning bolt the other boomstick wizard, and that's why he stepped back up on the hill so he could see it.
They're gonna have a boomstick battle.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just whack each other with their boomsticks.
It's
sniper
very
fight.
thematic as these massive armies are fighting in the field below. There's two wizards just lobbing spells back and forth.
Curling lightning bolt back and forth. Bugger off! You think the one on Pegasus will be easier to hit? Yeah.
Yeah, presents a bigger target.
Yeah, and it's flying.
Lightning bolt does take the -1 penalty for shooting at individuals, doesn't it?
No.
No,
No.
just cover.
Just cover. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't take any modifiers unless it specifically says it does. The lightning bolt says cover.
Yeah.
So not stealthy for some reason.
No, which
And
makes
that's-
sense because
and
it's
that-
just like giant lightning bolts coming from the sky. So
But then five models.
It is for me, it's that interesting thing, and it's what has sort of pushed lightning bolt so strong in the meta, is because it doesn't care about individual and it doesn't care about night stalkers, basically. That it is the sort of the ultimate tool for shooting compared to the other ones.
It's just so much better than everything else. Unless you have something dedicated like the organ guns. If you put the boomstick in your list, it will always be relevant.
That's going to be 3 wounds, bringing him up to 7.
Yeah,
7 on
he's
a 10,
rallied now.
12 unit.
He's pulled himself back into rally. So he's now 12-14.
Yep.
So it's not an easy kill.
Yep. And here's probably a Bane Chant roll. 5 to wave for 7 to kill. Here's probably a Bane Chant on the foot guard going into the other wizard. Yep. Which he does not get. Even on the reroll. Ugh.
Oh yeah, I told you, for the Conjuring Staff, you automatically fail it when you
need it.
Staff. Yeah. It's same with
you get one more chance to fail. Thanks.
Yeah. If it's a 1-inch surge, you can roll all 8 your dice. The Conjuring Staff will always fail. Should have brought another wizard.
I love that.
So that's that's dead.
That will get the
Dead
wizard with authority with an 11.
Yeah.
So there's one boomstick down.
That's huge. That's a really good pickup for him.
That is
Unit strength gone. So and he'll probably lose the second one here now. It might die. It probably should die to that Paladin foot guard.
I think that is the first scoring unit that Tom has lost this game.
Gosh.
Paladins versus Knights. Looking for 3 to 8 hits on 12. Looking for
6
4s.
3 damage. It's didn't come off the hill, did he? It was behind the hill.
Yeah.
9.
Yeah, so fine.
A 9 on an 8. 17.
17.
Yeah. Nowhere close.
Paladins on the wizard still have a pretty good chance.
Yeah, these really could do it. It's 3s again.
Elite.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, they're just in.
7 wounds.
Yeah, 7 damage. This one's not inspired or rallied. Yeah,
and that'll do it.
A 9 will pick it up.
So that's 2 flying unit strengths taken out. That is big.
That's big for Mark. Well done, Mark.
I think Tom needs to be very careful with his last Pegasus now, because that will be such an important utility piece in the last few turns. The ability just to threaten or contest any objective on the board is really powerful. Yeah, I think it was the right move to throw the wizard as chaff there, because the regiments doubling up on the horde would have been a problem on the night horde.
I don't know if that other regiment would have been able to see the horde anyways, though.
Guessing it probably could, which is why he chaffed, but I'm not sure.
Because he was off the hill, behind the hill, off to the side.
No, he was back. If you move that regiment back slightly, he had an angle to see the side of it.
I guess maybe from where.
Yeah, he stretches way out there.
He's very wide.
He had to chaff it up, and now you can sort of destroy them in detail, and you even have the mounted scouts to now push forward, possibly and chaff again where needed.
Yeah, I think that's 8 wounds from the swordsman on the pike horde, or on the foot guard horde. That is
well,
big.
You said you wanted to spike it.
That is 8 hits on 12 dice and 8 wounds. All right? They're getting promoted to paladins.
Where
Yeah.
were these guys
Right.
trained?
So that-
But only a 5 and an
Kill him,
11.
breaks him.
And that's
God.
there's
Wait.
your chaos, Brenton.
How are they doing? This matters, right? They don't have a potion or strength or anything, right? How are they wounding on 4s against foot guard? Did
Yeah, they shouldn't. And then he
Did
would have held
Tom-
on that spell.
did Tom take the +1?
I don't think it
strength or
exists for
something?
the.
I don't think so either.
Now,
Like-
foot guard just
It
having
says on his
downable
list that the foot guard horde are defense 5, and those were which regiment was that? The men at arms,
That was
Yeah.
Yeah.
the pike horde is defense 4, but they're defense 5.
and then the men.
Mark's
It's not
yeah,
the
are
paladin foot
swordsmen.
guards. It's
Yeah,
the
so
men
they
at
don't
That
have
would've
two-handed
mattered.
weapons.
It should have been half the damage, and so that 5 wouldn't have killed him.
Yeah.
Well, that Tom knows the list and knows both lists. He should know that.
Well, I just
Shout out to Tom.
before we get crazy, like, yeah, I see no option in the Basilian to take extra.
Yeah, he
like,
can't do that. He has
crush.
Bane Chan in the list, but he tried to cast that on the other paladins on the hill
And
and
failed.
failed.
Yeah.
So
But the
he,
foot guard haven't upgraded to pushing 1 defense 4, then, have they?
Not that I know of. Let me double check the list.
it's not on his list,
Yeah, let
I
me
was
just
just
make sure
looking
it's.
at this.
unless I'm looking at the wrong version of Tom Robinson's list. He
No,
did say
so-
something about
They can
But actually, no,
exchange.
I don't think they have done because he hasn't been rolling extra crushing strength for them.
Yeah.
So yeah, Tom's mistake. Well, but
Let me-
both
let
their
me double
mistake
check.
there, but Tom didn't call him on it.
Check.
Yeah, that's
I
too
don't
bad.
think Mark would do it. And I can
Hold
see
on.
Mark going. So what's your defense? And then
I may have. Hold on. Let me double check that. Tom
9
did send me a second list.
6 damage onto the pie card.
not too bad
Counts as
considering the
7.
ensnare and everything.
Even with an 11. So fine.
Okay, so Tom did send me a message to say he forgot the 2-hand weapons on the foot guard. I'll redo it. But then I think he
Okay.
sent me the same list copy again. So I
Okay,
think they
yeah.
did have 2-handed weapons, so their defense
So-
was 4.
He did the right defense, but he didn't do the right crushing when he
Hasn't
fought.
been using his crushing, yeah.
Possibly.
You know that.
Depending
that's
on
his mistake.
depending on which copy of his list he's looking at, because I'm looking at the 2 he
So
sent me and they're not different. So
Tokens here now then.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's
Well,
giving
at
up that flank.
So which token is he burning?
He just burned the one behind the palace guard.
yeah.
Right. See.
And now he has the question on whether he should burn. At that point, he's giving up the palace guard. Should he just back up?
Yeah.
Yep. So we figured it out eventually.
Yeah, because I have his list open in another browser, and I kept going over to it, being like, "That's defense 5," but
Yeah, I think the copy of the list he sent us does not say they have 2-handed weapons, but a message he sent to me said the first version of the list I sent you is wrong. I'm going to give them 2-handed weapons, and then he sent me a same copy of the list where they didn't have 2-handed weapons. So I think he
So
just
we're
sent me
all
the wrong
good.
copy of the file.
No one cheated or did anything wrong, except Tom might have forgotten extra crushing against Nias.
Yeah.
So
But he killed Nice
that's his
anyway.
own fault. Yeah. So he's still chosen to take the flank with the honor guard and Sam Chris, and it looks like he is turning the Duke to sort of chaff up the palace guard.
is he actually going to be able to prevent a charge?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so either.
Maybe
that's what he's thinking. Yeah, I think he's gone back in now. Maybe that's what he's just realised.
And then when you win, you sidestep with the you back up the honor guard and you sidestep with the Aralaz to just shove them right in the face of the
Would be a
palace
give him a
guard.
flank, but yeah, it's
I mean, at that point, if you're just trying to stop them from charging your honor guard, you give it to them. I mean, it would be great if you could give them the front, because then they might have to burn their boots to guarantee a kill on them. This way, you don't need to even burn the boots if you're hitting the flank.
Mountain of Scouts. Oh, charging by the look of it.
Cheeky.
Oh, seeing if he can do it.
Not sure if he can get all the way around.
There. So that's forward, and then
So Mark did
He's
even up the number of
already-
scoring units by picking some stuff up last turn. but they are currently tied 2-2 for holding objectives. When Tom sent his honor guard into Samacris, because now they can hold that.
So
Previously,
it looks like he made the charge in.
Yeah, so the first sort of zippy move is he made the charge. He showed he could do the charge, and then he backed them up and aligned them to actually get them in.
Yeah.
And this is great because this means the knights are going to take no more damage from pesky charging regiments. And turn 6, top of turn 6, they will be on top of that hill, staring down. So my guess is that Paladin Foot Guard is going to have to train on up there and stop them from crushing whatever in the middle turn 6.
However, the other thing though is that Paladin Foot Guard regiment, I don't think they're going to die to those mounted sergeants. So he could back
they're
up the
going to die to they're going to die to the knights next turn.
Yeah, but they should be able to get a charge onto the knights next turn if they want it. They should be able to back up and make a pivot.
No, the knight.
They might be able to, depending on how the knights reform.
Possibly, it's harder when the base in front of you is wider than your own.
Yeah, it makes it really hard.
Very, very tight.
If Tom does something silly like walk forward with the Night Horde, he might.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if he gets aggressive with the Night Horde, they might take another round.
So what they were just checking there with the Battle Shrine was that if he charges the front of the Battle Shrine, he'll be out of 3 inches of the token with the Men-at-Arms regiment.
Right.
So he'll have to kill the Battle Shrine and overrun to be
before he can burn it. Yeah.
Because obviously he's out unit trying to think him at the moment. So if he gets within 3, he's laughing really. I'm assuming
you only can underestimate the sergeants when they're in the rear.
Yeah.
They're not sergeants though; they're mounted scouts, right?
Mounted scouts.
Right.
Yeah.
Because there is a unit very few people use, but I actually love when I do get to use them, which are the mounted sergeants.
Sorry, it is a mounted scout.
Just like
they feel like another one of those. It's sort of like the hero on Pegasus. The hero on Pegasus is amazing, but the wizard on Pegasus is also amazing. So you don't see as many hero on Pegasus.
Everything in the undead list. It's all amazing, but it's also in the undead list.
Yeah.
So
I feel like
the organ gun shooting.
Looks
like
yes, 12 shots. Yeah.
And they've done a big old 1 wound to those swordsmen who have been promoted to paladins.
Yep.
If they get to 2, so they've done 3, I think.
Yeah, if they get to the back of the board, they get promoted to paladins in this game.
Yeah.
If they reach the back edge, they turn around and they become a horde.
Right.
That would be such a funny thing to do to some unit. Be like, here's this soul unit. If somehow you make it to the back, turn around.
I've done that in objectives.
He's going for the priest again with lightning bolt. They did do 4 damage to it. I would have thought he might have focused all down on that Men-at-Arms regiment.
Yeah, just murder it. But
4 more damage. Yeah, that's all.
Just one more from the one more on the priest from the wizard.
Really now.
I think at this point it's just grudge. The priest and the wizard are getting shot by the other wizards, and they just hate. They have eyes only for each other.
There's a 4 on the priest, which will only waver him, I think, because he's 11-13.
Yeah. Oh no, that was on the wavered. Yeah,
waver. So,
I mean, he's been trying to kill Inspiring for a while now. And
so you don't iron resolve on a waiver. So
nope.
I suppose it does stop the burn chant for when the Men-at-Arms charge the Battle Shrine.
Yep. And there's a Snake Eyes against the Paladins on the hill.
I'm not sure that 1 minute's a whole lot of difference, but
it doesn't. But I haven't gotten to use the banner in a while, so.
So it really is about Mike's feelings and his banner.
Night Horde blows straight through the regiment.
Yep. Night Horde did what Night Hordes do.
Kind of as expected.
They go boom.
And what Tom has managed to do here with that Night Horde is that it was in a little danger from shooting. It was in a position where it was possibly going to get double charged, but he's going to sort of do that. And here, this is him preventing the charge that Ashley was talking about.
Now he won't be able to make the turn.
Making that angle as tight as possible. And the interesting thing here is that he's going to be in the perfect situation a Night Horde wants to be in, which is 1 unit at a time, lined up straight across the board, and just hit each one in turn, blow up each one.
Plowing through them.
And that line, my guess is that line is going to end on that final it's going to pick up each of these paladins in a row.
So they're just checking that he can't make the charge now. Yeah.
No way.
Can't do it.
So smart play there with that pivot.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not a bad thing, is it, having a Night Horde sort of in reserve for the going into turn 5 and 6?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be turn 5, it's going to pick up the one on the hill. Turn 6, it's going to get chaffed by something, potentially that other paladin regiment. And I think that's part of the reason he's trying to murder this priest and that wizard, is they can also stand in front of a Night Horde maybe to make it more difficult.
So Tom's rolling very fast here, but it's hard to see what.
Yeah, this is the combat on the Ogre Palace card, I think.
Yeah.
So he did 9 hits in the rear, which only translated into 3 more damage, I think.
Yeah.
And it looks like they're not dead. Very confused.
7
we
and
got
a
to see the
5.
front, right?
I think he did that already. Right?
He's done the front already, yeah.
Yeah.
He rolled really
12 hits,
fast.
5
Rolled really
damage.
fast. Only rolled a 5 for the nerve check. So
Well, how much damage can we zoom in and see how much is on them?
7.
Ugh.
There goes Sam, Chris.
Is that all right?
Bye-bye,
Yeah,
Sam
I'm sitting
and
there.
Chris.
All, yeah.
Maybe burn that token too quick. Because he's in charge range of the back of those scouts.
He is. With the men at arms, yeah.
So he should pick them up from behind, and he has a okay shot of.
So yeah,
he's still probably not picking up that hard.
Oh, 1 sec. What's he thinking? Does he want to burn something? Now, I'm not sure there's any tokens Tom's holding that I'd want to burn this turn.
Yeah,
but he does seem to be
I
thinking
think
about
so.
it.
I think so. They're currently tied 2-2. I
So
guess
is
the
he-
honor guard
so-
could burn the 1.
He didn't sidestep with.
No, he
the
just
Duke.
pivoted. So he pivoted so that if you don't break them in 1, you're getting flanked by the Duke. In both
Okay.
motives there.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not a crazy idea because, as you say, it's 8 damage into either of them. It's very survivable for both of them.
He should do more than 8, right? Oh,
3s
no,
and
I
3s,
guess
isn't
it
it?
is only 8. Yeah.
Plus brutal, so it's around.
Did he just turn the Ogre Palace Guard around to hit the mounted scouts?
Looks like it.
Why?
Why? I don't like that at all.
Okay,
Well,
here's
it
what
must be that
here's
he's not charging his men at arms him, and he's expected to just blow them up and spin around.
well, here's
And it means
here's
that
what
the
he's
hold's going to be hindered.
Yeah.
all he's doing is he's going to murder the scouts.
Yeah.
That takes away the danger from your back token.
Mhm.
You sit on that back token and it's a score. Because
Yeah, because
those
I mean, I guess
pikes-
now there's not going to be really anything they can do to get to that token and take it away from you by the bottom of 6.
Yeah.
Nope.
And objectives
So-
get really scarce.
So I think it's an interesting play. It's a good, like, no one's gonna, that fight on the side, there is now no winner. He
Right.
kills the
Yeah.
scouts. Even if the pikes kill him eventually, they're not gonna have enough time probably to get through unless he spikes this next roll. Now the danger is those pikes spike their roll, drop the palace guard in turn 6 and surge for and push forward, and then come at him in turn 7. But
No, I think it's worth it. I think it's worth the. It's not really a risky play, is it? There, because you should one shot that troop.
This is interesting. What's he doing on the hill here with the paladin? What card?
he's trying to hide them from the knights.
Yeah, but it doesn't look like he can get off the hill.
No. Also,
And
rear
never
charge from.
underestimate a rear charge. Oh,
Oh, swap.
Swappity swoop.
Are they charging? Yeah. Yeah.
Just send the defenders in
It's
instead.
hindered. Hidden defenders.
And this
I mean, they are now.
allows that unit to get a potentially more preferential charge next turn than what the defenders were positioned to do.
Yeah.
So I like it. It's interesting.
I'll roll with it.
You are allowed to charge through an individual.
Yeah.
So that's legit.
It's yielding. It's not pretty sat mighty.
Yeah.
Poor
And
little
the
beast don't get to be mighty.
swordsmen have gone into the battle shrine. I'm expecting the boomstick will try to pick off the wizard.
I mean, this is starting to look pretty sketchy for Tom. I mean, it's going to be hard because what is sort of happening is this unit in the middle, the what's it called, the paladin foot guard that just did their shimmy into the middle, is basically going to be trying to protect that center token. The palace guard have to go in and have to hope. If they get blown up, then it's going to be really tough to deal with a winged Arles and an honor guard both facing that center token. Because the Arles can hang back on this back token while it blows up whatever's in the middle. It really is coming down to that palace guard charge.
It's wild. You know, there's also a scenario in this. There's a scenario in this where Mark could win it without enough points, and if Tom didn't take enough points from him, that neither of them win the tournament.
Yeah, and that some sneaky bot lower table person.
Paul, playing the spoiler.
Paul Brown sneaks in.
This is where we need to cut to that live footage of Paul Brown on his couch with his family around him watching, all ready to celebrate.
Just sitting there being like.
So here's a reminder that Tom needs 12 points to win the tournament. You get 5 for a loss. So that means he would have to come up with 7 more points out of this game. And there's not all that many objectives left on the table here.
No, there's not.
Yeah. And Mark would need 21.
Mark would need 21. And at this point, it's going to be very hard for him to get that many points, given that they have burned 3 of the objectives.
Well, you get 15 for a win, right?
Yeah, I guess he can still get plus 5 because the middle one is worth 2. So he can still get plus 5 from objectives if he has all of them at the end and no more get burned, but I'm not sure that that's likely at this point.
And then being lucky enough to kill enough of Tom's stuff to get a big enough bonus point from attrition.
Yeah. So going for the horde is completely the right choice there.
I agree. Get rid of, and then if you do break them, that's more unit strength off the table.
It's mainly just like there's nothing left to really kill the palace guard if you take that horde off. The knights aren't going to get through all of it. So if you're counting on just rolling good, which is always a great strategy, like I'll just roll well. You might as well do it against the unit that's going to give you the best effect.
I'm guessing it's out, but can we just check the 6 inches from the battle shrine? It's not rallying the horde.
It is not.
Just out.
Yeah.
Interesting. So he moved the boomstick wizard over here. Is he maybe going to try to shoot at the
knights?
Knight horde instead of picking that wizard off?
Is he going for the sneaky waver? I mean, they've got headstrong, but
they've got indomitable will, so not even a roll for it, right? You just burn it and go.
Yeah, sure. Actually, they just and they keep their thunderous.
Yeah.
When they're indomitable will, it's super headstrong.
When you're looking at someone's asking where the 4th objectives are. There's the 3 red dots on the board, and then there's the middle token, which is the little red and white one.
And it's worth 2 for, but only for bonus points, not for scenario win.
Yeah, and that's why the center is like a fixed piece because you can't burn it at all, so there's no point for them.
Yep.
Yeah. I think that's a
Spicy,
good. I think I like that too of like
Yeah.
setting a different objective piece, for the center so that no one accidentally burns it. Then you're like, oh shit,
Right.
actually I couldn't have done that.
accidentally.
Yeah, it's a nice idea.
No
Accidentally.
one accidentally burns it.
All right, on
Brenton
to shooting.
accidentally cheated.
Well, it looks like the lightning bolt is going to head towards those knights.
Might as well spike a roll.
Yeah.
See if you get all of it.
Your plan is to roll well.
Yeah,
I mean, I
think
guess
I would have gone
you're-
for the wizard personally.
I think I would have gone for he does have rally 2 right now, and if you're hoping to kill that battle shrine, maybe I don't know. I think I would have
Yeah.
shot at the wizard too.
I think
It's
they're
just-
both good/bad targets. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
Five
Well,
hits.
Five with the same fusing.
oh, there we go.
Oh yeah.
Bummer.
Back down.
Sad
For the
faces.
circus, it's been doing well as that
He's
lightning bolt.
tired. Yeah.
He's tired.
And
This
that's
is-
probably his only shooting. Yep, because everything else is either wavered or no longer on the table.
And a 7 won't do it.
Yep.
Nope.
Nope. Needs a 21, 23.
Imagine how bad it'll be if those ogres don't break those mounted scouts.
Yeah, this is.
I mean, you can't play the game assuming things like that will happen, but
I mean, it's not as bad. It's not double ones, right? Like,
yeah.
All right, so here's the paladins on the mounted scouts on the hill. With
Elite roll, so
elites.
it's 9 hits.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Two.
2.
Yeah, that like a
I
crushing.
thought that was 9 hits.
yeah, they hit on
Inspired.
3s. Why didn't he roll? I mean, he still rolled enough to get them, but don't
Anyways.
paladin foot guard hit on 3s?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
Yes,
they
they do.
do. They definitely do.
Oh, they were hindered. They were hindered. They went over the wall to get in.
Uh,
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Because I was gonna be like, oh yeah, because the wall's like an L shape around the.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Because I was gonna be like, I don't know how to do this.
sometimes you forget when the charge
Yeah,
comes from way
I mean, he was
downtown.
actually, I think, quite
Yeah.
lucky to pick them up there. Then, really, wasn't he? On a 6, it was a.
Yep.
Not very lucky, but 10 and 11 was a good roll.
Yep. Once again, just roll great for nerve, and this game's easy.
If you always roll like a 9 or up for nerve, you're gonna be fine.
Tom could really, really do with this battle shrine not dying here. It's only got 5 hits though.
Only 5 hits.
Yeah,
3
3 damage.
wounds.
Should be fine. Fearless 14, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, fearless 14.
Completely
It
fine.
is good, but it's not casting lightning bolt on anything next turn.
No,
No, it's just going
there's
to
a
grind
lot
it out.
A lot of units that are gonna hurt it next turn, aren't they?
Okay,
Right. then.
Ogres.
ogres into the
Don't
scout.
fluff.
I do like his style
It's a
that
good
he's
start.
waiting. He's waiting for the
14.
big damage in the end.
10.
Yeah, 11
Yeah, so-
damage. So
Oh yeah, he did.
super dead.
Super duper dead. Turn back around.
Spin to win.
Yeah.
Just keep spinning. There we go.
Turn back around.
Yeah.
Not actually engaged, so should back off a millimeter there to indicate they're not actually engaged, but they know what they're doing. They're not going to be confused about that next turn, I don't think.
Mhm. And then I like the drama of just like leaving this battle.
Right,
This
this
is
is the
the
big
one.
one. 3s and
18 on
3s.
3s. Yep, with Strider.
Yep.
So not hindered here. 14
Oh.
hits is a
14
great
hits.
start.
It's a good start.
What are we looking for here? 3s again?
10.
10 wounds.
That was a good roll.
Mhm.
And they are
Oh, they're fine.
Oh,
3 on the nerve.
Where were those nerve
Yeah.
rolls that he used on the mounted scout?
Yeah, that was helpful for Tom there.
so big. Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough now. Knights
mean-
should pick up a foot guard unit.
Yeah.
That ogre should definitely go to the counter with the winged arrows in the flank.
Probably both should go. I mean, what the Picard's hindered, so it's 5s and 5s again. So it probably shouldn't kill it, but
No, but that one doesn't even matter anymore.
yeah, there's no tokens in contest
It's a
there.
slap fight.
I feel bad for Mark. That's sad. That 3 on the nerve roll. That's sad.
I mean, it was a tough one, right? That was a
Yeah.
It was hard.
It was a It was higher than it should have been for the damage, but the nerve was tough there.
The nerve balanced it out, but it's always sad to see a low nerve roll like that.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what happened.
He's chopping up that, or thinking of chopping up that regiment of Paladin Foot Guard.
It looks as if you can do it and make Yep. I think I preferred it further across because then you were making them hindered on the charge.
This is probably why it would have been a better idea to try to shoot the wizard to death. But I guess with the damage roll for the lightning bolt last turn, he wouldn't have really done anything to the wizard anyway.
Oh, where's he going? Is he running away there, or is he going to charge the knights in? I think he might charge the knights in.
Oh,
because they'll be out of arc if they one on the hill.
Yeah,
and then he can just spin around and make it so that nothing can see him, and he's got unit strength 4 with that great big knight horde that out of all of everything's line of sights.
And let's be honest, this swordsman regiment is the MVP on Mark's side, so getting rid of it will be a huge moral blow to the army.
Well, this is the old FU in particular.
Right. Right.
Specifically.
And then he's positioned the wizard there both to get it out of the way, but also to block, I think, the charge from that Paladin Foot Guard, because it won't be able to pivot through him. So
it doesn't look like. Oh no, yeah, but you'll be able to reform quite easily. What it's to avoid the arc of the one on the hill.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But this is where like double ones from Tom would be like, oh.
Yeah. The Paladin Foot Guard on the hill.
Can he actually stop them from seeing him?
I think he's just checking this now, actually.
Yeah, he can't because these guys are in the way.
He can't.
Yeah.
I mean, even if he can't, he only has to survive one more charge.
Yeah, but he should be trying to survive no charges.
Yeah.
Like,
I do like the play though because it brings the Night Horde in to hold that token, and they have unit strength 4, which is a really nice thing to pull into that part of the board. Really, blowing up the one on the hill would have been nice.
And moving the wizard over here now means that I think this center token might be congested. How much unit strength?
I don't think he can put himself in a good position to avoid those charges.
So I think does he just go for one on the hill instead?
Well, the one on the hill, he's like gonna blow through that and can be out of everyone's charge marks.
It's not a bad, like, sometimes doing the easy thing of just picking up the units you're supposed to pick up doesn't always feel good because you're like, maybe there's something trickier, but it might be the smart play.
It might be the best option.
So I'm guessing he's going to move the battle shrine back if he's not doing that then. Yeah. Oh, or is he? No, he can't make that charge. He's not nimble. I wonder if he was seeing if he could make it so the Night Horde were just clipping the edge so he'd get a better reform, but yeah, not a chance. You can't do that, Tom. No way. Yeah, you go.
Yeah, it's like I call bullshit.
Yeah.
But in a much nicer.
Oh,
accent.
wait.
Oh, yeah.
Wait.
No.
Come on.
Because can we zoom in a little bit? Because he's. I guess he's saying he can do it.
I think he could do it. I mean, it would have been helpful if Tom had shown us all that he could do it. But I think actually, he goes forward and pivots and then taps the corner. And
he also could have moved the fly boy up a little bit to give himself a little more room.
He doesn't because he's putting that there specifically to prevent him. Yeah. So just to be clear, because I think I know what he did, but I want to talk through it. He started along this line. He moves straight along that line with no pivot, and then he pivots what is currently his bottom right corner up, so that he can make a plane where he contacts their corner, the back corner of that unit, and then he aligns like this because blocks.
And then he's picked up in place.
Yeah,
because it's the only bit he can. He's still in contact with the point he originally made contact with, but I'm not sure what that gains him because then he's still going to be in. Arc, and I don't see how he's in any better position there than he was before.
I don't either.
It's that thing of just because you can doesn't mean.
Yeah, I think he's tunneling a little on making this charge, and
Yeah.
I don't know that it's actually.
No, I think actually just blow up the one on the hill.
Yeah, I think you're in a better position there.
Here's a crazy idea.
No,
He
well,
does
he's
this-
sticking with it.
No, so he's sticking with it. Okay,
Can we
Yeah.
check the distance on the peg from the
No,
other units?
Mike's gone to the low.
Mike, no, we need your angles. Oh,
I
your
think he wasn't.
sweet
I think he
angles.
wasn't into it for everything.
Okay.
It does look at It looks like he's maintained the gap.
Okay.
So Benchant has gone through onto the honor guard,
Oh, yep.
and then
Make
he
it
did
worse.
one more damage. Yeah, so he's killed the priest. So the organ gun
Iron's gone.
sneaks one through onto the priest and it's firing off.
There's still that boomstick wizard on
There
a hill,
is.
though. That's,
Yeah, that honor guard horde is going to be a juicy target now for them.
Yeah. God, I might have taken the shots at the boomstick wizard instead, but
Mike Brindley wants to know if
Fortitude.
the Pegasus was within an inch though of the other unit.
Super dead.
Depends on how they're calling it. He is on the line.
1 inch
so if
line.
you're- So if you're calling, depending on how they're ruling the line, they might say that's in and out.
So I'm not sure what the fancy manoeuvring there with the Pegasus gained, Tom, that he wouldn't have just got. Maybe he would have ended up in arc of the other regiment as well.
yeah, if he had
Yeah.
if he had put himself in front arc of this unit previously, he would have been a charge from the second unit in the old version
mean,
of this. He's
In
still
doing
taking
this, he
a
has given
charge
up a
though.
flank from the battle shrine.
And he's taking a charge off the hill, so they are gaining thunderous
Yeah.
too.
I don't know that
And
I
he's
like
given
it.
a flank to the battle shrine, and I'm not. Yeah,
I don't.
And he's rolling with it, so
so they've done 4 damage. So he puts them on to 11. Ooh, breaks him. No inspired.
boom.
With a 10.
Boom.
Wow.
Just roll well. Yeah.
Just
Now-
roll good nerve. That's all you gotta
Now
do.
what
That's how you
what
win.
he needs here, does
Needs
he
to go
does
forward.
he
Guess what? What are we on? We're on 5, aren't we?
Yeah,
yeah.
bottom 5.
Bottom of 5.
Roll them
Oh,
forward,
I'm just
D6.
waiting for this juicy off the hill charge though. I just want that.
Right. We are here for that.
I am here for
Yeah.
that. I'm none of the rest.
Turn 6,
Roll this
paladins
pike
running
forward.
down a hill into a horde of knights. Sounds awesome.
Yeah.
So wait,
Yeah, roll
what's he
roll
doing
these
with
pikes
them?
forward, and
Yeah,
I think
you
he's,
have to
he's
go
thinking
forward
about
here.
it. I think he's thinking: does he go forward or does he swing a left and go towards that?
Yeah,
token?
because if you sidestep a couple times, or if you turn and head that direction, you
Yeah.
have a possibility of securing that objective.
Mhm.
Yeah, but if you walk forward, the footman will just burn it before you get there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's
So
losing
he's
them an
looking now.
objective.
Yeah, what we can get.
Yeah. So like literally he's like, he goes forward.
He won't
He's
get
gotta
close.
go
Yeah,
a
he's gonna-
long
looks like
ways to get there.
So
He
he's
won't
he's
get
rolled or something. Yeah, he's going forward. Yeah.
Okay.
he won't get close enough next turn if he had made the left. That's what he was checking. If he makes a left turn
Yeah.
and tries to pivot, he wouldn't be within 3. So
And he's still touching the wood, so he can't move at the double towards the objective next turn.
You'd have to charge
He'd have to charge. And
Yeah,
they can easily
he'll-
back up.
and stay on the objective. Yeah.
Meanwhile,
he
combat
needed-
in the middle.
Back up out of charge range. Yes,
he needed like a 5 or a 6 on that roll.
So seven,
so they're-
7 wounds on the
They're
ogres.
currently 7 away, so they don't have enough backup do they, to get out of range. 2.5 back. They
And
might still be
other
in charge
Palace
range.
Guard are dead.
So it takes care of the ogre palace guard in the middle.
Bye bye, Ogre Palace Guard. Are dead.
Now they're going to get lightning bolted too.
Yeah.
they're going to be a.
Mark's still got
Yeah.
pieces.
He does, and he's still got unit strength. That's the important thing, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
Those 2 regiments are.
Mark still
No,
has
you're trying
8
to-
scoring units, right? Or did we have not changed the banner yet?
I might have lost count there.
Yeah, he's got 3 left. 3 scoring.
I feel like 8 was a lot. I was like,
Yeah, I may have forgotten to update that.
that's fine.
Yeah, he has 3 left to Tom's 2, 3, 6.
6, yeah.
But I think he's going down 2 this next turn.
So he's still deciding what to do with the honor guard and the Duke.
Yeah, because I mean these paladins do have a flank charge on the battle shrine, but they kind of need to head towards the middle of the table to like stay on the central objective, so they can't really. Right. Whereas.
Yeah.
And any objective.
Still having the Duke alive is very helpful.
Yeah,
the wizard and the Duke.
You pretty much have to charge the honor guard with these paladin foot guard at this point, I think.
Or lightning bolt them.
Or lightning bolt them.
I think lightning bolt them, but
you don't have a Bane chant. You're gonna hit eight times if you're unhindered.
You should be unhindered. You have 2-hand weapons, so you wound on 4s.
I'm guessing they're rallied at the moment, are they, the honor guard?
Yes.
I think they are, yeah.
So they're 18-20 at the moment.
Well, we will see what he does as we have arrived at turn 6.
Yes.
Oh, look, we're still under the 3-hour mark.
Why do you don't? You're one of those people that go camping and it's like, look, it's not raining, and it's like, what are you doing? Don't mention it.
Like people that use the Q word at work.
Talking to the pitcher in the middle of a no-hitter. God.
We got a talking to before the game yesterday from Pat Allen, who does sort of sports broadcast stuff as his like main job some of the time, like behind the scenes and the filming and production work. And he was like, what you have to understand about all people in sports broadcasts, they never talk about overtime. They never talk about what could happen to extend the game. And you're never rooting for either team. You're just rooting for someone to end the game. So like all they are rooting for, all the sports broadcast people are rooting for is less sports broadcasting.
Right. Let's wrap this up.
So he's going.
It's like I can only imagine like a playoff hockey game that's going to like third overtime, and they're like, "Please, no, nothing but the."
Sudden death is really not sudden enough for me.
He's thrown them in. I apologize for not looking at the list. But are those two hand weapon paladins?
They are.
They are, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're all 2-hand weapon paladins.
So 3s and 4s.
Yep.
8 hits, 4 damage. It's
18, 20. It's a big old.
Unfortunately, the paladin defenders that give them elite are way over there, though, so they're not going to be able to get close enough to give them elite.
So I still think it's the right player.
You think it's the right player, or you don't?
I think I do, because if you kill them, that central token is now yours because you've got unit strength 3. And then you're winning, aren't you? Because you've got 2 to Tom's 1.
How much damage is he?
There go the paladins down the hill.
I just think you need to try, don't you? This is top of 6, isn't it? Yeah, so that's the player that can win you the game. Every other player, while it's not likely, no other player wins you the game.
Well, here was my question. If you flank charge with them to the God, my brain is not working anymore. If you flank charge the battle shrine, and think you can kill it, then you're removing 2 nerve off of the. Oh no, it would happen later. Never mind.
Because you do it in the combat phase, not the shooting phase.
Yeah. So I think they have to charge them.
And you do more damage in combat than you do with your lightning bolt.
Yeah.
You've got more attacks at hitting better and.
I don't know if we mentioned it, but up here up top, he did back up the swordsman regiment, and they are outside of 9 of the pikes. Excuse me, outside of 10 of the pikes.
Right. Okay.
Barely. That's too bad.
Barely.
That would have been funny. So he needed 1 more inch if he had rolled a 4 instead of a 3 on his overrun.
Yep.
So I know we're not supposed to mention extra time, but a 7 really does not suit Marquet, does it?
No.
I don't think.
No.
Because that pike horde will bear down, and obviously they out unit strength. The regiment.
It doesn't even have to win that combat; it just has to be in that combat.
By backing up, he's put a charge onto them into unit strength challenge range. So I almost, if there is a turn 7, I might actually push that regiment forward.
Move forward. Yeah, to make it so you have to kill and over them.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you can do it. Yeah, if you can do it and keep them off it, right? That's better than burning it at this point because there's so few left.
Actually, I'm just saying this, if the Paladin Foot Guard regiment does kill the Honor Guard, Tom has enough unit strength 1 things left to contest the middle point, because he has 3 of them.
Yep, if they all get there. Mm-hmm.
So he could push it. On a 6, Tom can bring it back to a draw, as long as the knights don't die.
Oh, he's going to try to lightning bolt the battle shrine.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, it's a good target. It's unit strength, and it prevents Tom being able to force the draw.
The 3 hits. Oh, only 2 because it's in cover. 2 wounds though.
Yeah.
So it's up to 5, and it's what, dash 14?
Yeah, so he needs a 9.
A 9 twice probably.
Oh, fine.
And it
just
that is off by 1, right?
Yeah, that's one of those where you're like desperately doing the math again in your head.
Like, you really do.
Like, wait a minute, did I do simple arithmetic right, or is there a way I actually took that off?
All right, so here comes a pretty big one here. Paladin.
Yeah, this is
Paladin defenders off the hill into the Night Horde, looking for 3s to hit. That's 9 hits.
Okay.
And looking for 3s to wound.
9
right?
damage out of 5, is it? What?
No,
They've
forgotten
forgotten
off
about
the hill.
the rest.
That should be 9.
They came off the hill. They should be TC2. That should be 9.
Oh no, this is the defenders. So they don't have any crushing.
Okay.
Oh, right.
You get the defenders at defense 5.
Yep.
14 and 8. I think they're fine with rally.
That's a waiver. Oh, the rally. Yep.
Yeah, and even if they were wavered, they've got a demonstrable will.
They just
but that was
now would definitely be the time to use it.
But some of those rolls were a little bit of twitchy bum time. There's a clinch there, probably from Tom.
Very much so.
And here's the second clinch moment.
Just a 2, is it?
Yeah.
That's going to be bad.
And with the heal that he had already done.
Yeah.
They're fine.
6 and 8's a 14.
And he still has his indomitable will backups. He still has the insurance policy. So
that might be a sort of a wrapped up game there, but that was a very, very close. You know, he put himself in every position he could do there. You got to give him all credit for that.
Yeah, he was in the best position to there he could have taken it if the things had gone his way.
He put himself in places for both those charges where if they'd have gone his way, he wins the game. And you can't argue with that.
You can only argue with #UB days.
Yes.
he was actually hoping for the
average there.
Yeah, he was hoping.
He needed a spike there.
Now these get picked up. Both foot regiments get picked up. He throws that pike horde forward, hoping for a turn 7 to just really clean up and hold on to that 95% attrition rate.
Yeah.
But this was a bloody match. I mean,
this was
Tom's going to end up, I think with a lot of units still on the board, but they're all limping. They're limping along.
Yeah.
I mean, look
I think
the damage.
That's so. We talked about it at the beginning. That 95% kill rate of Tom's. There was also an 85% kill rate from Mark normally. So I'm not terribly surprised that this has been a bloodbath.
No.
I'm not sure if he can get the battle shrine within 3 though. So I think he is definitely going to have to kill the. I don't know. The paladins might be out.
He murders them and then he sidesteps the Arales.
Yeah.
Right. Or doesn't even need to at this point.
Doesn't need to. He's already there.
Yeah.
Let's update that.
Yep. So here he comes for turn 7.
But I mean, the thing is that he still has a horde of pikes, a horde of honor guard, a horde of knights, and support pieces. He has a lot of points left, but they are on a lot of damage. So, if this had gone slightly differently, 2 of those are deleted.
Yeah, absolutely.
Has he been Radiance of Lifing with that Arales?
Yeah, he has.
Yes,
because that honor guard Reg was actually on like 10 wounds before,
Yeah.
and then it Iron Resolved and Radiance of Life. So it brought it down to like 7 or 8, I think.
So he's moving forward with the volley gun for that turn 7 shot at
Yep.
the wizard.
Just in
But
case.
why not? We know. Why not prepare yourself?
Why not?
So at this point, I'll remind everybody that Tom only needs 12 points to win the tournament, and right now he's well set to get quite far in
More than
excess of that.
Yeah.
And that middle token that's worth 2. That means he'll be getting 4 bonus points off the scenario, which would give him 19 before you even get into attrition.
Of which there is a lot.
Of which there's a lot. Assuming he picks up both these paladin regiments, yeah. Mark's going to be looking at what, a wizard and some swordsmen left?
Yep. That wizard
Well,
is like, come on, guys.
Lightning bolted, or is he? I think he's going to go for the bane chant on the Night Horde, just to be really sure, because that Night Horde is on so much damage now.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's true.
It can't survive
So,
a
yeah.
turn 7 counterpunch. So.
No. Hey, nothing. So the wizard survives for now.
The wizard on the hill is still king of the boomstick.
King of the Sticks.
And there's Bane
But, yeah,
Chant.
Bane chant on the
Goes
knights,
through.
so they should really, really kill them now.
Yep. 3s and 2s.
3s and 3s because the defense 5 those.
Yeah, these are the ones that
Yeah.
brought the shields, not the big sticks.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it shouldn't matter a whole lot.
Yeah, no. It should not matter a whole lot. They don't no, they don't have inspiring. They have the elite aura.
Elite aura.
All right. See if he finishes this up without any surprises.
It wouldn't do some big upsets now, wouldn't it? So
27.
15 damage. Add a 9 on the
9.
nerve, just to be sure.
Yep. So now this is another interesting one. Let's see that double one.
Yep.
There in the middle.
Yep.
It wouldn't actually change the state of the game that much because they're not within 3 of either objective.
Are they not within 3 of the middle?
No, they're just out.
Ooh.
When they charge, they're
All right.
Oh, but that's 17 hits on 18 dice. What was that?
Because if they were within 3 and double one, then it would bring it to a win. Oh no, draw.
Yeah. But there's a
Okay.
but
9.
but there's
Never
a
Never mind.
not double one.
But never mind.
Big lead.
This is like how my game ended yesterday. I've got 1 scoring unit sitting on an objective and 1 individual limping along.
It's still points.
There's still points. All right, so we'll roll for turn 7, but whether there's a turn 7 or not kind of doesn't matter. And there is not.
No 7.
No,
No.
turn 7.
So that will be game.
No.
That
and
match.
Very well played to both of them. Very
That
well
will be the tournament to Tom, I believe.
Yeah, 6 wins.
I mean, you deserve it
And
at
6
6 wins. Like,
6 quite decisive wins as well.
Mhm.
Paul, who came second, had 6 wins, but there were some closer games there, and some smaller wins. But that'll be a 24, I think, by the look of it. It looks like he'll probably get max points for kills, and then he's scoring 4 for bonus scenario.
It was close.
It was
Tom
very
is
close.
the bane of
And,
Canada's existence.
Yep.
Yeah,
I was trying
I
to.
suppose as a consolation for Mark, he won't slide too far down the tables there.
Mm.
He was already high up there, wasn't he? So he'll still be in the top 10, I would imagine.
Yeah, that's always that tough pill on top table round 6. Is you
feel
have
like
the
you should
chance
fight
to win,
yourself.
but then you lose, and it's like you tumble down a bunch of spots from
Right,
anyone.
and
who-
now I'm
who
9th
won
out of
money.
nowhere. Right.
Yeah,
It's
Like,
Yeah, it's not like
feels
you're
weird
playing for
doing it,
second. You're playing for, like,
Yeah.
if you're losing, you're taking 7th or,
Yeah, and so many people, the points are so close between everyone at the
Yeah.
top. Yeah, losing even 1 point can lose you like 3 or 4 spots.
you forget sometimes, don't you, that your first game is worth exactly the same amount of points as your last.
As the last. Yeah.
It does just feel like you should be slowing out for silver.
Yeah, this is an actual sport. You don't get to play.
That's
for
actually
silver.
something. That is actually something. I do like the idea of, and for a UB tournament, you might be able to do it and not in person, is where you cut to like a top 8 or a top 4, and then they play.
We did talk about playoff because we kind of, when we did the maths, we thought there was going to be lots of people on 6 wins, and that hasn't been how it's it's fallen. Actually, I think there's only 2 players on 6 wins.
Mm-hmm.
And in that case, the scoring system did its job beautifully, and the person that got 6 big wins has won. The person that got 6 smaller wins has come second. So it's done what it should do.
So Tom Robinson, Bane of Canada.
Yeah.
I was actually going to look up like horrible Canadian disasters to name him after, but that seemed a little cruel. So for now we'll just call him the Canadian Geese. Which is the thorn in the side of all Canadians. So
they're evil. Okay, if you have not been chased by a goose, you have not lived in Canada.
We've got all the Canada geese over here at the minute. Saw them the other day.
It's they're a modern day velociraptor. I have legitimately been cornered by geese in a park. And there's one in front of me, and I have a sandwich, and I sort of put the sandwich behind me to hide it. And there's 2 more geese behind me that have snuck up and go for it.
We had to throw our pack of strawberries at them once and make a break for it because they were all coming up out of the lake after us.
So they've just worked it out. It's 24-8.
24-8.
Okay. I'd like to think that was there the entire game.
Trust me, I needed the emotional support solved there.
All right, guys, welcome back. Thanks so much for letting us watch. That was an outstanding game from both of you. Congrats, Tom, on the win, and by our math, that will also give you the tournament. So congratulations for that as well. Very well done. Panelists, do we have any questions for them?
Tom, why do you hate Canada?
Well, you're like a weird Northern America, really, aren't you? Like you're a cross between America and Britain.
I'm just loading it on my screen.
We're the child that's moved out a while ago, but still asks for money.
Yeah.
And still kind of listens to grandma sometimes, but not always.
The child that everyone likes.
There you go. So were there any things from the game that came up that we needed to ask them about? I felt like it was a pretty clean game. Like some of the moves you guys made, we scratched our heads about for a minute or so, and then as things resolved, we were like, oh, okay, that probably was a pretty good call then. I can't remember if there's anything specific that jumped out at us.
Yeah. Well, there was that charge from the Airlas on to the individual that I think was just my feelings were hurt for Mark.
I had to explain to people what you were doing and why you were a bad person.
Yeah, I did apologize for it. What happened? What I was going to do is I was just going to send the knights right into the paladin regiment, and then just turn and be like, right, fight me. And then I got the 5 damage from the lightning bolt, and I'm like, oh fuck, I'm not doing that then. So instead, I said, right, I'm going to take the hit. I'm going to kill at a low height, and then I'm going to try and get in sneaky to his backlines with the using very sneaky, not very nice tricks, which I just apologize for. It wasn't a pleasant thing to do.
I mean, in hindsight, actually, we were wondering if you'd have been better not taking the charge and just flying straight over and being in a better angle.
I thought
it kind of put you at a...
Because it's really important, but instead it took me like 4 or 5 more turns of trying to lightning bolt the damn thing before it went down.
But was it worth losing the respect of the internet?
It's on the edge. It's on the edge. I did wonder if I really wanted to do it, but it's all been covered. It's been talked about many a time. There's a very particular technique for getting around it as well. Like you rule to stop you. You know,
I mean, if it's a legal charge, it's a legal charge, but it's definitely one of those feels bad moments.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But after the
Because I
fact, they
didn't
don't
think he
ask
was gonna be
how,
able to
they ask
land.
how many.
Like,
So
even being angled the way that he was coming in, I didn't think he'd be able to land once he made contact. I thought he had to be able to make contact and still be clear of any of my other units. Then we did the sliding and everything like that. I didn't realize you hit. You're still kind of hovering above units. Then you slide. Then you come down. So that
Yeah. It's all the field bads with the flyer rules interacting with.
Yeah.
So something we noticed is you were extremely aggressive, Mark, in throwing all of your sort of fast, annoying units straight into the organ guns, right, sort of on turn 2. And I think we understood that was that your plan from turn 1 to sort of go for that weak point, or was it something that happened when you started blowing up your units?
Yeah, it was more or less trying to gum up the works and just give my units in the center time to advance up the field without the threat of everything that's fast basically coming at me. And I also wanted to block line of sight of the organ guns so that they'd have to deal, or the volley guns, they'd have to deal with the things that are immediately in front of them. And they ended up surviving for the one turn that I was hoping they'd survive for. But I just wasn't able to follow it up as well as I would have liked. The swordsman did well. Those swordsmen in the flank of the foot guard.
MVP swordsman. Oh, great.
yeah, I think we declared that those
wherever they
swordsmen were
got
actually.
trained, I just got to send the rest of my guys off to wherever that camp is and just train them up that way. But
we were joking that they were all getting promoted to paladins on the battlefield.
yeah, there was that. Tom did a good job of getting rid of all my inspiring sources as well, because having even just an inspiring source kicking around the end of the game could have made a big difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was quite happy with the volley, because obviously you kind of want. I'm not too bothered about first or second turn rather, but first turn was important because I made a big mistake immediately, thinking, I'm going to fire everything to Naeus. He doesn't get cover because he's too big, and then I forgot that walls are height 2 now, not height 1. So I was like, and it not matter because I set the foot guard and the honor guard up to cover him because I knew he wants to get into the volley guns, so that's why they were there. So I thought, great, I pick up one regiment low high with the volley guns, another regiment and Naeus charging, and then I pick all 3 of them up, and I've lost these 2 volley guns. Which was what happened. It took me. I was hoping I'd break one of the 2 on the first round, then I could turn with the other one.
Yeah,
but I didn't break with either of them, so it forced me to commit more time, and I ended up losing foot guard because of it. Well, also because the swordsmen were ninjas. But I was happy with that. They did the job. Polygons died properly. They did the job.
Yeah, I mean, my main plan going in was to just try to win by having 3 objectives, including the center, and just try to get over that 21 point threshold that I would have needed in order to win the event. So I was trying to get and burn down the objectives on Tom's side as quickly as I could so that I could kind of force the engagements up front and try to hold on to that one in the back. And I was trying to hold on to the one with the ogres, but I had kind of made a little bit of a mistake just kind of having them towed into the woods. So that turn that I had to burn their objective was just to keep them safe because the honor guard would have been able to charge them in addition to the pikes. I ended up losing the ogres anyway, but I kind of had to burn it then, and I didn't have enough support to go over to help them out.
Okay. Anything else?
Nope.
It was a really fun game to watch.
Yeah, no, it was an excellent game, and it was still pretty close down to what, turn 5? I would say still could have swung.
Even turn 6.
Turn 5.
Those combats had gone another way.
That's true. There were those 2 big combats that were all the way in turn 6. That if they had gone the other way,
there was still. You did a really good job, Mark, of putting yourself in a position where if the dice had spiked, you could have won. You know, you can't ask them more than that, can you? That you need to, even when you're down, you've got to put yourself in places where you're hoping for silly rolls or spiky rolls, and you'd set it up nicely. Whereas if one thing had spiked massively for you, you could have pulled a draw or pulled a win.
Yeah. If the it's actually kind of funny. If I'd have rolled those combats in reverse, with the two-handers into the honor guard and then the defenders down the hill. The honor guard would have died, and then the defenders still would have done nothing, but at least that was still the honor guard. So that was...
Yeah.
Yep. You would have got in the middle. All right. Well, thanks so much, guys, for letting us watch your game. That was an outstanding game and very well played by both of you. Congratulations once again to Tom Robinson on winning the game and the event. Thanks to Mark for putting on a very good showing for us there. That was an outstanding effort and match on your part. I'd like to thank Elliot Morrish, Britton Williams, and Ashley Smashley Mowat for joining me here in the booth. And I'd like to thank everybody at home for watching this and all of our previous streams covering Call to Arms. This is going to be our last Call to Arms broadcast, I think, because next weekend we'll have a couple of live events going on over here in the States. We'll have Vanguard GT and Bug Eater GT, where we'll probably stream a couple of games from that, like top table games or something like that. So keep your eyes open for that if they pop up. And we might have a wrap-up broadcast of some sort for Call to Arms sometime in the next week or so, if we can get it scheduled right. So keep your eyes open for that as well. Make sure to subscribe to our channel here so you'll get early notifications as soon as we schedule those videos. Other than that, thanks everybody for watching. This has been Dash 28 Live, and I'm your host, Mike Atkins, saying stay safe out there, and we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.